It's a 4th of July edition of Opening the Door here at Gov Fuller Field as the Falmouth Commodores take on the Cotuit Kettleers for game number 2. Expecting a big crowd at Gov Fuller Field. Ryan Martin alongside Andrew Delapiana. I'm Ben Haller as we open the door. And Ryan, I'll start with you. This team coming off a game last night where offense had been one of their strong suits last 5 games. Yesterday, they kind of went cold.
Yeah, it certainly did. A 3-2 loss in which the Cotuit Kettleers walk off the Commodores. First walk-off that the Commodores were involved in 2025. You saw Jared Advincula have the RBI single to win it there at Level Park. 0 for 10 in runners in scoring position. That's what really stuck out with me for Commodores offense. That was hot, Ben. You're right. We just couldn't get it going at Cotuit.
Mm-hmm. Despite the loss, still very good days for both Caden Eschman and TJ Coates. Andrew, it's a pitching staff where the rotation is changing a lot right now. A new starter this season for Falmouth takes them out today.
Similar to what TJ Coates was doing last night on the other end, though, where he's been now a bullpen guy. Matthew Dallitz gets the ball today out of Wake Forest. He's been phenomenal in his 2 appearances so far. Handful of strikeouts, has only allowed 1 runner on base. His last appearance cut a little short through the fog in Hyannis, but he was masterful in his season debut against Whitey, hoping to keep that going tonight against Cotuit.
Yeah, well, he gets his first start of the season on a special day. And Ryan, I know I could speak for Andrew and I. We're really excited to experience our first 4th of July here at the Gov. You've done it before, so you know what to expect.
Well, Ben, it's the best day on the Cape League schedule.
Don't forget one of these. Look at those commemorative hats
that every of the Cape League teams are wearing. You could buy this at your team's merchandise store, including the one right under the Gov Fuller Field press box. We were at Cotuit for this game last year. Let's go. Mike Anu is exactly right. This is going to be a fun day at the Gov. It's July 4th. We're going to get the fireworks started early here with the Commodores.
First pitch coming up at 5 o'clock with Andrew Delapiana, Ryan Martin on the call. I'll be on the sideline for Kettleers and Commodores on the 4th of July.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just 1 click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store located at 147 T-Ticket Highway and try a slice today.
If you need to dig, lift, move, grade, clear, or cut, pump, weld, clean, light, and just about anything else, dial up the rental source for the newest and the most reliable equipment in New England. Staffed with equipment and construction experts, Milton Rents, your local source.
On behalf of the Cape Cod Baseball League, we would like to thank the following league partners for their continued support: 99 Restaurants, Badger Sports, The Baldwin Group, Bluebird Dennisport, Bridgewater State University, Cape Destinations. And of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
I'm Adrian Lopez. I'm an infielder from the University of Southern California, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
We keep going here, opening the door, a special 4th of July edition, and we have the Falmouth catcher, Mark Quattrani. Mark, thanks for coming on. This is an offense that obviously, before we get to the 4th of July stuff, has been playing a lot better as of late as it was in the beginning of the season. You had a 3-game stretch where you scored 26 runs. What's been going different for the offense?
We're just in a good groove right now. Timely hitting, and we got a good approach going, so hopefully it continues.
Now off the field. This is your first summer here on the Cape. What does it mean? What have you heard? How excited are you for your first 4th of July here at Cape Cod Baseball League play game against Cotuit today?
I mean, I always hear July 4th here gets a big turnout, so I'm just excited to see the fans come out and, just celebrating America today. Hopefully we get a win, so I'm really excited.
Favorite 4th of July traditions?
Fireworks for sure. I love fireworks. That one scene in Sandlot, I love that scene. So yeah.
One night a year where the sky's bright enough to play a night game. And then lastly, gotta ask, favorite 4th of July food?
Hamburgers, cheeseburgers. Yeah, that's my favorite. So
perfect answer. Yeah. Mark, thank you. Appreciate taking the time. Back to you, Ryan.
Thanks so much, Ben. You heard Ben just speak there with Notre Dame catcher Mark Quattrani, speaking a little bit about what's special about this day. Happy 4th of July to you and yours from Gov Fuller Field in Falmouth, Massachusetts. We're just about 15 minutes away from the Cotuit Kettleers visiting the Falmouth Commodores for the first time in 2025. We'll talk to you soon right here on Cape League TV.
Hi, my name is Matt Burgess, General Manager here at Falmouth Country Club. We have a unique 27-hole public golf course with a beautiful layout that is family-oriented. Kids play free here at Falmouth Country Club. Getting on the course is quick and easy with our app. You can book tee times, get yardages with GPS, use our interactive scorecard, track your stats, and receive exclusive in-app offers. Falmouth Country Club is a true Cape Cod classic and a local family favorite.
See you on the course.
On behalf of the Cape Cod Baseball League, we would like to thank the following league partners for their continued support: Veolia North America, Wilson Sporting Goods, Yawkey Foundation, Netting Pros, Falmouth Publishing Company, Butler Sporting Goods, Sports Fix, Margaritaville Resort Cape Cod, Sunderland Printing, Del Mar Vacation Rentals, and of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
I'm Adrian Lopez. I'm an infielder from the University of Southern California, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
On the United States' 249th birthday, where else would you want to be than right here on Cape Cod to watch a little bit of America's pastime as we celebrate July 4th here in 2025. Game 2 of the season series between the Cotuit Kettleers and the Falmouth Commodores alongside my partner Ryan Martin. I'm Andrew Del Piano. Ryan, it's a special day here out of the ballpark here for July 4th, but this matchup between these two teams, we got a home-and-home last night at Lowell Park. That was a fun one to watch. The Kettleers getting out on top, though, after the walk-off.
It certainly was, Andrew. How about the Kettleers getting the July 4th fireworks started about 24 hours early? Jared Avincula with the RBI single in the bottom of the ninth. A game, Andrew, where we didn't know if it would go 10 innings because of the darkness. No lights at Lowell Park in the village of Cotuit. So Jared Avincula says, no, we'll end things here in regulation in 9 innings. That RBI single wins it for the Kettleers 3-2. I think the biggest thing, though, again with the Commodores, we've mentioned so far this season, 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position. I'm looking for guys like Chris Newstrom, as you see on your screen right there, to improve that in Game 2 against the Cats.
Yeah, both offenses cooling down just a little bit after what's been a stellar handful of games for both these teams. More so for the Cotuit. It's been very impressive. Winners of 3 straight, and after a pretty horrific start, their offensive numbers have absolutely skyrocketed. We'll tell you all about it during tonight's broadcast. That's it for us for now. We'll send it over to our public address announcer, Will Rosen, for tonight's pregame announcements. Will?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Arnie Allen Diamond at Fuller Field for tonight's 4th of July Independence Day Cape Cod Baseball League matchup featuring the visiting Cotuit Kettleers and your Falmouth Commodores. Tonight we celebrate these United States and those who have made the sacrifice to put us here today. Tonight we also recognize the Falmouth Commodores Volunteers. Throughout the year, the Falmouth Commodore Volunteers plan and execute a lot of activities, from sponsor development, concessions, merchandise, community group coordination, game day events, front gate management, and a whole lot more. Quite simply, the game you are enjoying here tonight is in large part due to the efforts of these dedicated baseball-loving individuals. Tonight, let's give them a big Falmouth Commodore thank you. And if you happen to see a volunteer, please say thanks. And now it's time to meet tonight's starting lineups. First for the visiting Cotuit Kettleers. The manager of the Kettleers is Lauren Hibbs. Leading off for the Kettleers, the second baseman from Georgia Tech, number 7, Jaron Avincula. Batting second, the center fielder from UCLA, number 36, Dean West. Batting third, the shortstop from Auburn, number 33, Ryan Farber. Batting fourth, the DH from Cincinnati, number 29, Jack Natilli. Batting fifth, the right fielder, number 13, Andrew Wiggins. Batting sixth, the left fielder from Oklahoma, number 14, Camden Johnson. Batting seventh, the third baseman from Kent State, number 6, Luke Matthews. Batting eighth, the center fielder from Nebraska, number 28, Case Sanderson. And batting ninth, the catcher from Stanford, number 17, Luke Lavin. The pitcher this evening for the Kettleers, a righty from UC Santa Barbara, number 38, Reed Mooring. And now it's time to meet the starting lineup for your Falmouth Commodores. First off, the manager in his first season, World Series champion, Jared Saltalamacchia. Leading off, the left fielder from Cal Berkeley, number 8, Carl Schmidt. Batting second, the right fielder from the University of Maryland, number 2, Antonio Morales. Batting third, the shortstop from the University of Southern California, number 18, Adrian Lopez. Batting fourth, the center fielder, number 3, Micah New. Batting fifth, the first baseman from Georgia Tech, number 10, Kent Schmidt. Batting sixth, the third baseman from Alabama, number 7, Justin Osterhaus. Batting seventh, the designated hitter from Southern Mississippi, number 17, Kyle Morrison. Batting eighth, the catcher from Virginia Tech, number 12, David McCann. And batting ninth, the second baseman from the University of Tennessee, number 26, Chris Newstrom. The pitcher this evening for your Commodores, from Wake Forest, number 32, Easton Barrett. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that if you're able to rise and remove your hats as we honor America and those who protect our freedoms with the singing and playing of our national anthem tonight by the Shining Sea Strummers. This eclectic group has been meeting weekly for the past 8 years, playing ukuleles, guitars, a flute, and a whole lot more. Players are from the greater Cape Cod area. Hey, whenever you're ready, Sea Strummers.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. In 2019, Joanne Hine joined her husband Ernie when he discussed a volunteer position as the broadcasting director for the Falmouth Commodores. Little did she know that she would spend the next 5 years, minus COVID, as a dedicated volunteer board member and an integral part of the Commodores organization. Joanne's love for baseball started off the field when she spent many games with her father watching the Red Sox. She served as an assistant game day director, hiring, training, and supervising intern to run the pregame ceremonies, raffles, and a whole lot more. Always with a smile on her face and pushing the interns to be professional and perform at their best. Joanne has become a baseball mother to the interns, many of whom she remains in close contact with. She opened her kitchen for the interns to cook some of her mother's Italian recipes and then enjoyed their dining efforts. Always up for a challenge, this year Joanne took on the responsibility of preparing the merchandise shack and helping to prepare the concession stand for the 2025 season. Here to throw the first pitch, Joanne Hyde. There you go, Joanne. Thank you for all your efforts to make these Falmouth Commodores fans, interns, and players the best.
We are just about set for
And now,
baseball here on July 4th. The anthem sung, a tradition since the 1918 World Series, and only fitting that we do it once more here on America's 249th birthday. Back alongside Ryan Martin, I'm Andrew Della Piana. Cotuit and Falmouth just about to get going. Game 2, these two teams will meet another 3 times after this one. Ryan, we touched on last night, but we didn't talk about this Falmouth team that is trying to bounce back at their first loss since last week. This team was really on a roll offensively, but just really stifled in that game against the Kettleers.
Yeah, it certainly was a stifling. You saw the only extra base hit was that home run for Micah New, who seems to just be on fire right now with the Cape League leading 6 home runs now. So for New, he got that offense going. Not much else besides him. Again, we mentioned 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position for Falmouth in that loss. Andrew, I think you need consistent offense. That's what we saw for Falmouth during that win streak before Cotuit silenced the bats yesterday.
And the big guy that did help in silencing that was the offensive end, starting with Jared Avincula, who leads off once more for Cotuit. A recent transfer to Georgia Tech after 2 seasons at California Berkeley. We'll talk about him in just a little bit. Let's meet the starting pitcher for Falmouth. It's the lefty from Wake Forest, Matthew Dallas, who has been masterful so far in his first 2 appearances, Ryan. The numbers really tell the story for him. After getting just a 1 inning of work against Hyannis after that fog delay, he has been flat-out spectacular.
Yeah, I think saying masterful, Andrew, might even be selling Dallas short. You see the lefty's numbers right there. He's got a 0 in the ERA column because he has yet to give up a hit through 5 innings pitched with the Commodores. He's the only returner from 2024 summer who was with Falmouth last year. Started 6 games with the Doors last season. Now we see Dallas in 2025 making his first start and 3rd appearance for Falmouth.
Those 2 innings out of the bullpen. Any other adjective you use, it's going to be pretty hard to find after sitting down his first 12 hitters that he saw on a beautiful night here in Falmouth. 77 degrees, feels like 78. Wind's pushing a little bit towards left field, but it should be a beautiful night. Sunset scheduled for about 8:20. This game being pushed back a little bit earlier due to festivities. A little bit later tonight at Falmouth Heights Beach. Fireworks going off at 9 o'clock. So we start this one 60 minutes earlier than regularly scheduled.
One of the best traditions, I think, on Cape Cod, Andrew, is you be at Gov Fuller Field when Falmouth is fortunate enough to host a home game during Independence Day. Then you make about that 9/10 of a mile walk down to the Heights Beach and see the fireworks that you can see visibly both from the Martha's Vineyard and from Falmouth.
Can't ask for a better scenario here on Cape Cod. Matthew Dallas to face off the aforementioned Jared Avincula to start things off here on Independence Day. And we are underway, starting just a minute early at 4:59 p.m. as Avincula takes a ball inside for ball 1.
Always tentative here from the Gov. Love to see it in 2025.
His numbers really tell the story, batting above 300. That has jumped up into top 10 in the league after going 1 for 4 last night with that RBI single down the third base line where Justin Osterhaus is playing once again tonight. Swing and a miss, fooled on the changeup from Dallas. Two seasons at Cal for Avincula before transferring to Georgia Tech to join that loaded squad, and Matthew Dallas picking right up where he left off with a strikeout for out number 1.
That's now 4 batters faced across his last 2 appearances. The first batter with Avincula, and then only the 3 he faced against Hyannis. It's 4 strikeouts and 4 batters, Andrew.
That slider is so tough for hitters. It starts in at that lefty and then breaks out. One gone for Dean West, the center fielder. 6th game of the season for him, batting .316 entering this one. Dallas starts him off with a beautiful-looking breaking ball. 5-pitch mix for Dallas. Fastball about half the time. You see that curveball and a cutter once in a while, and he will break out that slider every once or so. As West fouls it back quickly, 0-2. The rising junior from UCLA. Just got back from the College World Series about a week ago. Got off the plane at Logan Airport around 1 a.m. on Saturday from LAX. Just about 16, 17 hours later, he was in the starting lineup. Made 2 amazing diving catches out in left field in his Cape debut.
We look at the offense that's really changed for Cotuit, Andrew. Still 6th in the league with a .233 average coming in. But you mentioned this 3-game winning streak the Kettleers are on. It really starts with new pieces offensively coming in and contributing like we see with Dean West.
Another slider that West barely gets a piece of, stays alive. Got a massive role increase this year with the Bruins. Only 20 games as a freshman. Started nearly every game this past year for UCLA in their run to Omaha. Hit .320 with the Bruins. 4 home runs, 41 RBIs. Dallas is 1-2. Goes back to the slider, and West pokes it out into left. But Carl Schmidt is there for out number 2.
Seen a heavy usage of that slider early for Dallas. You mentioned he only uses it about 5% of the time coming into this appearance. And this is a lefty-heavy lineup for Cotuit, just as we saw yesterday against Caden Eschman. Sending it here against the Southpaw in Dallas.
First-year manager Lauren Hibbs only going with 1 righty last night against the righty Eschman. 2 up, 2 down. Here's Ryan Farber, goes after the first one. The rising junior heading to Auburn after 1 season at Texas State. He has been one of the hottest hitters on the Cape. In his last 6 games, batting .455 with a home run, 7 RBIs, and north of 1,000 OPS. Dallas once again ahead 0-2. Saw last night Eschman and TJ Coates getting some long battles with these Kettleer hitters, something that has definitely changed from the first 5-10 games of the season for Cotuit. These last 6 games, they're in top 3 in a number of offensive categories.
You flip it from the hitting also to the pitching and the defense. Falmouth comes into this game with .319 ERA. That's 4th best on Cape Cod. But that ERA, as a collective, as the league is increasing, as batters get more used to the wooden bats, a .319 average just a few weeks ago would have been the worst in the league.
Slightly tapped to Lopez, gets under his glove and through, and Farber is going to reach. Another error for Adrian Lopez. He had 3 the other night in the loss to YD. And that one, he looks like he just took his eye off it.
The edge of that grass here at Gov Fuller Field in front of the shortstop spot that Adrian Lopez occupies had some funny bounces so far, especially recently as the calendar has turned into July. Seemed like a simple play for Lopez and just goes under his glove.
2 gone for Jackson Attili, the DH. Runner takes off. It's a called strike, gets away from McCann. Popped up to throw it, and then came out of his hand. It's a stolen base for Farber. That's his 4th of the summer. It was just about 4 days ago where Falmouth's defense was number 1 in field percentage with only about 12 errors. And that has changed quickly in the last 72 hours or so. Attili, a high chopper to Lopez, but Osterhaus cuts him off, fires to first, and that does the trick in the top half of the inning. So the 2-out error does no damage for Falmouth. We'll see the Commodores bats for the first time tonight as we are scoreless through half an inning here at Gov Fuller Field.
Hi, my name is Matt Burgess, General Manager here at Falmouth Country Club. We have a unique 27-hole public golf course with a beautiful layout that is family-oriented. Kids play free here at Falmouth Country Club. Getting on the course is quick and easy with our app. You can book tee times, get yardages with GPS, use our interactive scorecard, Track your stats and receive exclusive in-app offers. Falmouth Country Club is a true Cape Cod classic and a local family favorite.
See you on the course.
On behalf of the Cape Cod Baseball League, we would like to thank the following league partners for their continued support: Veolia North America, Wilson Sporting Goods, Yawkey Foundation, Netting Pros, Falmouth Publishing Company, Butler Sporting Goods, Sports Fix, Margaritaville Resort Cape Cod, Sunderland Printing, Del Mar Vacation Rentals, and of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
I'm Adrian Lopez. I'm an infielder from the University of Southern California, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape Cod TV.
Just getting started here from Gov Fuller Field. No runs in the top of the first for the Kettleers. First up for Falmouth, we'll take a look at their lineup. Pretty similar, with Mike Anu staying in that number 4 spot. Homered once again in that 3-2 loss. He is now up to 6 on the season, Ryan, as that draft board continues to really skyrocket for him.
Yeah, it's like a firework. He's just exploding into the night. That's exactly what Mike Anu has done. You see there in the top right, league-leading 6 home runs on the season. That included a big fly at Lowell Park last night against this Kettleers team. If you're your field manager, Jared Saltamaki, there's not much more that you can do with New except keep plugging him in to that cleanup spot. He's got a good glove in center field as well.
He has been a ton of fun to watch this season, and that lineup goes against the righty Reed Mooring, the rising senior from UC Santa Barbara. This being his 3rd start of the season. South of a 5 ERA, an 0-1 record. Only had 7 appearances with 5 starts in the spring with the Gauchos. That one was shortened due to injury. Still finished just above a 2.50 ERA, but the big number that stands out about him, Ryan, his batting average against was only .64. So he was very effective in the starts he was in.
Yeah, not that intimidating, just 6'1" on the mound there, but you're exactly right. It is tough to get a hit off of the UC Santa Barbara arm. Take a look right there at him once more. He's been great so far for the Gauchos, and now his 2nd summer on Cape Cod has been great.
Here's the Falmouth leadoff guy, Carl Schmidt. It's been that way for a couple of games now. Him and Antonio Morales have been that 1-2 punch at the top of the Falmouth lineup. Taking for a called strike to Schmidt, the rising redshirt sophomore from California. His former teammate in Jared Avincula standing at second base after his transfer. Schmidt also been familiar to the portal, 1 season at Texas A&M, redshirted that year before going west. He has been very impressive in these last couple of games. Now top 10 in the league in average at .314, including a 4-for-5 effort on Wednesday in the tie against YD. That shot his batting average up about 60 points in that tie against the Red Sox. Schmidt does what he does best, puts it up the middle, and he's got a leadoff single. So the leadoff single for Schmidt. Let's meet the defense that will go against him. We talked about Avincula over at second base. He has been that star. Also, Andrew Wiggins has been a mainstay in the outfield, currently in the transfer portal after 2 years at Indiana. New catcher behind home plate as well. Luke Lavin does the catching. That gives the night off for Jackson Natilli, who is tonight's DH. Here's Antonio Morales. Ball gets away from Lavin. That allows Schmidt to scamper up to second base on the wild pitch. Actually going to go down as a pass ball against Lavin.
Mentioned how great Schmidt has been at the plate. Antonio Morales not too far behind him. Morales was that leadoff guy, but you just couldn't keep Carl Schmidt batting 8th for so long. So now Morales with a .275 average. Again, that 1-2 punch, as you mentioned, you start off with Schmidt and then you go to Morales. That's a spark that Falmouth needed to find consistency in its lineup, and I love the move from Saltalamacchia.
He has been that on-base machine. Top 10 in on-base percentage at 41%. Been a little cold in the last couple of games. 0 for his last 9 with 3 strikeouts. with that last base hit coming on Tuesday against the Bourne Braves. Went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts last night in the loss. Schmidt at second after the pass ball. Still nobody gone in the bottom of the first. Morales on the ground to the right side. Vincula charges at it, picks it up, and puts it over to first in time. Just out by a hair is Morales, and that's out number 1. But Morales does the trick of moving the runner over, thanks to putting it on the right side of the infield. 1 gone, runner on third for Adrian Lopez, who celebrates his 21st birthday in a couple of days on Monday. Another transfer in this Commodores lineup. Just finished his sophomore season at USC after a freshman campaign at Long Beach State. Corners are in. High chopper up the middle by Lopez. This will score the run. Tough play for Farber, but he makes it anyways. But that does the trick for Lopez. RBI number 2 of the season, thanks to the RBI ground out. As Schmidt comes in to score, it's 1-0 Commodores in the bottom of the first.
And Lopez with that new bright red bat. Not doing much more than he had to with it. Andrew just putting it over the pitcher Mooring's head. Finding it into some dirt and scoring Schmidt from third. So that ball doesn't even have to leave the infield after the leadoff single by Schmidt to get that runner home. Here is the most dangerous man on the Cape in Micah New, picking up his 6th home run last night. Ahead in that category by 2 now. Also first in OPS and slugging percentage. Good pitch from Mooring, drops in for a called strike. New currently in the transfer portal after a season at Marshall, 2 at New Orleans. Hitting .298 in 15 games played so far. And a guy like New, Andrew, is what makes Cape Cod Baseball League in 2025 so interesting. Someone who's really made a name for themselves on Cape Cod, draft eligible now at 21 years old, or does he make that Power 5 jump where there's got to be a lot of suitors calling his phone?
Definitely draft eligible as well, as he's fooled on the changeup here. We said it right at the top of the telecast that stock has been massively improved. Not saying he wasn't fantastic in Marshall, 14 home runs, 46 RBIs. But to do it now in front of some of the country's best with a wooden bat as well, definitely adds some extra baggage. 2-2, foul down the first base line and out. It's a 4-game hit streak right now for New, with 7 overall in that stretch.
3 homers in that hit streak as well.
2-2 count to New. Pitch. Called strike 3. Falmouth does get a run across, though, in the bottom of the first, thanks to the RBI ground out by Adrian Lopez. Just getting going here from Gov Fuller Field. Commodores take the 1-0 lead, just like they did last night. We'll be right back on Cape League TV.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic Clam Shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly option. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, a proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
On behalf of the Cape Cod Baseball League, we would like to thank the following league partners for their continued support: Veolia North America, Wilson Sporting Goods, Yawkey Foundation, Netting Pros, Falmouth Publishing Company, Butler Sporting Goods, Sports Fix, Margaritaville Resort Cape Cod, Sunderland Printing, Del Mar Vacation Rentals, and of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
Hi, I'm Grayson Sagne, right-handed pitcher from Texas. I'm a junior, and you're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV. Let's go.
Top 2 from Gulf Fuller Field here on Independence Day Oh, it's a special one here on Cape Cod alongside Ryan Martin. I'm Andrew Del Piano. Let's take a look at what happened just last night, a little less than 24 hours ago from Cotuit. We've hit on it a couple of times. It was a fun one. Jared Avincula getting that walk-off single in the ninth. But the big number that stares you in the face, Ryan, is that 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position.
Ben, the Doors is kryptonite all season long, Andrew, and it happens again at Lowell Park in the village of Cotuit. That was a fun game, and this is a Commodores team, again, Andrew, 7-8-1 on the season. We've mentioned a couple times how Falmouth has had to have a goldfish mindset. That's not more the case than right here, the only time in 2025 where they're playing an opponent twice in 48 hours. They got to lock back in against this Kettleers team, and they've done that through one inning.
Yeah, rarely do you see that on the Cape with back-to-back nights of a home and home, but just due to travel here on a busy weekend, they keep the two West teams pretty close to one another. Andrew Wiggins to lead things off for the Kettleers. Squares to bunt, pulls it back. Mentioned him a little bit earlier, currently in the portal after a pair of seasons in Bloomington, Indiana. Originally from Indianapolis. No stranger to the Northeast, though. Spent last summer with the Keene Swamp Bats of the NECBL. He's definitely playing some of his better baseball as well with the rest of his team. Currently 10th in on-base percentage, getting on 41% of the time. Another good-looking slider there from Dallas, just inside. Hitters count for the former Hoosier.
We mentioned how friendly the month of July has been early, Andrew, to this Kettleers team. They had that 8-2 win over YD in 8 innings on July 1st, and then in that 11-1 win against the West Division's best Hyannis Harborhawks, it was Andrew Wiggins had his grand slam for his first home run on Cape Cod.
His only 5 RBIs as well in 13 games came in that one show against Hyannis. And that was back-to-back days where the Kettleers took down the East Division leaders and the West Division leaders in a span of 48 hours. Here's a leadoff walk for Wiggins on the inside slider by Dallas, asking home plate umpire Ryan Demiri where that one missed.
And Dallas, just as he did in those first 2 appearances, Andrew, has still been attacking the strike zone and 1-1 there against Andrew Wiggins. Now 21 pitches for Matthew Dallas, 14 for strikes. He thought that was number 15.
That's walk number 13 for Andrew Wiggins. Good enough for second on Cape Cod. So the leadoff man on for Cotuit for the first time tonight. Here's the left fielder, Camden Johnson. Do have to be careful of Wiggins' speed over at first base. Just 2 stolen bases so far this summer, but he's been the leadoff man for the Hoosiers last season. Walked 38 times that past year. For Johnson, just about a month ago committed to the University of Oklahoma. 2 seasons at Wichita State.
Remember, Andrew, now 6 innings on the summer and a 3rd appearance for Matthew Dallas. This is the first base runner we've seen so far that Dallas has allowed.
Bunch of lefties on lefties you'll see tonight. For Johnson, he does have some speed of his own when he gets on. He does have 8 stolen bases. That's 4th in the league. Did go 0 for 2 last night with a pair of walks. Batted .341 with the Shockers in the spring. Wiggins takes off. Pickoff move to first, throw down to second in time. Good heads-up move by Matthew Dallas. Fooled Wiggins on the pickoff, and then Schmidt with the great throw to catch him stealing.
I mentioned how great Dallas has been so far. The first base runner he allows in the summer of 2025, but he knew how to get Wiggins out. The lefty facing Wiggins at first base. You see the throw over there to Schmidt, and you're right, Schmidt delivers a bullet to Adrian Lopez, applies a tag, even with the swim move from Wiggins.
And that is out number 1, the unconventional way to get off the leadoff man. 1 ball, 1 strike with 1 out. Johnson takes a big hack.
Falmouth's done a great job of that, especially at home in 2025. Facing the minimum or shortening the amount of batters that Falmouth pitchers need to face because of the pickoff moves and double plays converted. It's been well by the Falmouth defense that you mentioned has been good to start this campaign.
Another slider from Dallas, backhanded by Newstrom over at second. And in time, closer play than I think Newstrom thought it was going to be. As Johnson does have some speed down the line, but either way, 2 gone.
Newstrom gets it on the back end. Did he just fake the jump throw, too, from second base? It looked like he was going to face Schmidt, maybe throw it from the air. I think that's why it was a closer play with Johnson at first.
Newstrom has been all around the outfield as well. Seen a couple times in left and center, over at short, a couple of games at third as well. Luke Matthews looks at a breaking ball in there for a called strike. 7th hitter in the Cotuit lineup tonight. Did not play in last night. Did go 2 for 4 in the victory over Hyannis. That one was only a 7-inning game after Kettleers blew the doors off the Harbor Hawks 11-1. Inside, and this one plunks. Matthews. .91 miles per hour on the fastball from Dallas, but either way, it's a hit by pitch. Also, we got a change in ruling from that last half inning. That last error by Adrian Lopez has been changed to a single after official score review. So take out that E6 by Lopez and put that in as a single for Ryan Farber.
First and only of the game for the Kets.
Here's Case Sanderson as that ball just pops out of the glove of McCann. For Sanderson last night, came off the bench in the 8th inning with a pinch hit single. Getting that average just above the Mendoza line at 206.
Not just having the recency bias because he got Andrew Wiggins out at first base, but Matthew Dallas might have one of the smoothest pickoff moves that we've seen from a lefty or righty for Falmouth this season. Close play there with Matthews.
It's definitely an advantage those lefties have in their back pocket. That makes them so good. Chopper back to Dallas. It'll be an easy play over to first, and that does the trick. So the 2-out hit by pitch does no damage as they get rid of that runner once again after 2 outs. Commodores coming back up to bat, leading 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the 2nd from the Gov. We'll be right back after these messages on Cape League TV.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
What's up? I'm Kent Schmidt, first base from Georgia Tech, and you're watching Cape League TV.
Fourth of July artwork all over the ball field tonight. Just look at that. All 3 bases have the American flag on it. That's how celebratory we are here at the Falmouth Commodores. I'd like to show off the impressive artwork of some of Falmouth's best.
It's one of the best days of the year, especially on the Cape Cod Baseball League season. You look around the ballpark, happy birthday smiles everywhere for America's 249th birthday, including those bases where it says Falmouth in the top in red and Commodores in the bottom in blue.
Very cool stuff here at Gulf Fuller Field. Bottom of the 2nd, just about to get underway. Reed Mooring back out there for another inning on the job. Starts off with a 5-hitter in Kent Schmidt. Schmidt goes after the first one, fooled on the changeup. Schmidt, a 1-for-4 effort last night in the loss. Has been a go-to RBI guy, though, for Falmouth. 9 of them so far this summer. trying to get that average back up to where he wants it around. Only 224 so far. Did lead the ACC in that category in the spring at 397. Ball 2 taken outside. Schmidt once again fooled on the changeup. Rising junior from Georgia Tech. He's got teammates all over the Cape. Future ones as well over at second in Avicula. You also take a look at a player like Alex Hernandez, who's down in Cary, North Carolina. Good take on the outer third. Just missed from Reed Morning. You'll hear a little bit later in the broadcast our third member of our crew, Ben Haller, sharing something a little bit special from Kent Schmidt on this July 4th. It'll make sense a little bit later. 3-2 filed off. Right? It will. It most definitely will. Now you're just giving it away at that point. Schmidt is an all-Georgia guy. Played at Georgia Southern his first year from Marietta, Georgia, and even stayed in Atlanta for year number 2 at the collegiate level. Got a full count with Mooring. Here's the pitch. Schmidt off the end of the bat to Avicula, and he hauls it in on a leaping effort.
But some Yellow Jacket to new Yellow Jacket crime right there. You mentioned how Schmidt's staying in Atlanta with Georgia Tech. He's been great in the portal under new head coach James Ramsey. And a good catch there in the air made by Jaron Advincula, one of the biggest portal additions going from Cal to Georgia Tech.
Yeah, James Ramsey has been busy in the portal. A busy bee, if you will, for the Yellow Jackets. It'll be his first season after a long time. Head coach Danny Hall retires. He was an absolute legend with Georgia Tech. Osterhaus not going to be a Yellow Jacket. He's going to be a Crimson Tide, and he dunks that one in for a one-out single.
Good piece by Osterhaus. Going to say busy bee with Georgia Tech. Did catch what he did there. Well done.
Good to see him back in the lineup after missing a couple of games due to a back injury. Did get the start last night. He had that tough play over at third base. It was a low dribbler to the right of him. He had a field on the backhand, a Vincula's speed on the first base line. That's what led to the walk-off. Here's Kyle Morrison. Swing and a miss at the first pitch. Fastball comes in at 91 for Mooring. Morrison, a rising senior at Southern Miss, transferring out of South Alabama. Another hard cut and a miss. He is the DH tonight. Seen him at third handful of times this year. Hit .294 for the Jags in the spring. He's only hitting .188 so far through 11 games in the summer. He told us that the choice was easy to Southern Miss. Got to play there this past year with South Alabama. Said he loved the atmosphere. It was unlike anything he's ever been to. And that made that decision a little bit easier for him.
A lot of players, whether it's guys who aren't playing Power 5 baseball or SEC schools that go there to Hattiesburg, have been saying that about the Eagles and what's happening there at Southern Miss.
One of those really natural baseball schools, if you will. You put them in the conversation with teams like Coastal Carolina, Stetson, Dallas Baptist, all schools that really make their mark, really just in the sport of baseball alone. That was just 1 year in South Alabama. Morrison spent his freshman year at Shelton State Community College in Tuscaloosa. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Morrison. 1 out in the bottom of the second. Falmouth leading 1-0, thanks to the RBI ground out by Adrian Lopez in the last frame. Osterhaus thought about going, pulled back, and Morrison fouls it back.
If Osterhaus had seen that jump through, that would have been easy stolen base at second. Question is, would Morrison have still swung and fouled it off to return Osterhaus to first?
Just 3 stolen bases this summer for Osterhaus. He'll go a couple times. Way up and out. 2 balls, 2 strikes to the newest Southern Miss Eagle. Celebrating his 21st birthday last month here on Cape Cod. Warning agrees on the sign from Lavin. 2-2 is taken for a called strike 3. Second backwards K for Reed Mooring, and that is the second out of the inning.
Goes again to the fastball that runs inside on the lefty hitter, 92 miles an hour. That would have just jammed up Kyle Morrison. Instead, thought it ran too close inside for another backwards K, as you say.
First pitch to the catcher, David McCann, is outside for a ball. Osterhaus on first after the 1-out single. Morrison followed that up with a strikeout looking. Rising junior from Virginia Tech. Up in the count 2-0. His first start since Wednesday. Did go 1 for 2. Scored a pair of runs. Had a catcher, Henry Cook, also a Hokie here last summer. Gave him some advice for getting up to Cape Cod, if you will.
Yep.
McCann is a Easton, Connecticut guy, so more east, if you will.
Cook was great last year for the Commodores. Only played in 4 games. Had 2 home runs, though, out of his 4 hits. Guy who was only here for a cup of coffee before going home, though.
Definitely could have been here a little bit longer if he wanted to with those numbers.
And he did. Just a couple injuries sent him back to Blacksburg.
Yeah.
He had Cook last year. Now you look at the catcher room this year between McCann into the lefty box, the Mark Quattroni and Bear Harrison. This is a loaded catcher room. And for one of just the handful of times, Andrew, we've seen now in Game 17, it's only one of those catchers in the lineup. We've seen the second catcher really take that designated hitter spot often.
And even on the other side for Cotuit, they have a Hokie catcher as well, in Anderson French. He was over at first last night. McCann fouls it back. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's a good problem to have, though, for any baseball team, is catchers who can hit.
Hokies have been a prominent program over the last couple of years. Good lead off first for Osterhaus. 2-2 on the way. He takes off, swing and a miss for strike 3, and that'll do it for inning number 2. So some more base hits for Falmouth. Doesn't muster any offense, though. Just threw hits through the first 2 innings. We go to the top of the 3rd. Commodores 1, Kettleers nothing here on Cape League TV.
Just about anything else. Dial up the rental source for the newest and the most reliable equipment in New England. Staffed with equipment and construction experts. Milton Rents, your local source.
My name is Jack Berg. I'm a left-handed pitcher currently in the transfer portal. You're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
Youth development clinics. Live a day in the life of a Commodore and train with top college players here at Gov Fuller Field. Register today at our website at capeleague.com/Falmouth. You can be one of those youngsters, get in on the action. Would have loved to have that when we were growing up, Ryan.
I know, Andrew. It looks like a ton of fun. And guess what? I do have some inside information. You know how they learn about base running and base stealing? Water slides and slip and slides here at Gov Fuller Field.
Does that help?
It looks fun. It's got to help with learning how to slide. Certainly can't hurt working on those slip and slides, slippery surface, working on it. Looks like a lot of fun.
I wish that's how I learned how to slide. My dad put down a cardboard box in the backyard and say, go have fun and try to learn. So that's how I learned how to slide.
Makes a lot of sense while you're up here in the booth now.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. Top three, Cotuit and Falmouth. Commodores leading 1-0. 9-1-2 due up for Cotuit. Another frame out there for Matthew Dallas. Starts off Luke Lavin with a slider. Foul down the third base line and out. First time we've heard the name Luke Lavin in this home-and-home set. A rising junior from Stanford. Batting .278 through 8 games so far. Started 16 games this past year for the Cardinal. Another great pitch from Dallas is in there for a called strike.
Lavin now the only Cardinal on Cotuit's roster after the recent roster move in which Rentaro Sensaki no longer on the Kets roster after seeing him yesterday.
Breaking ball, Lavin out in front. Grounded to Newstrom at second. Couple hops. Makes the play for out number 1. Back to the top of the lineup with Jaron Avincula. He made a couple of nice defensive plays early on. First strikeout and only strikeout for Matthew Dallas was Avincula back in the first. Was a part of that Cape League All-Star MLB Draft All-Star game, if you will, at Citi Field a little bit early in the week. I know you got to attend that event. That was pretty cool.
I did. I got to attend it and talk to Jaron Avincula, who's a really interesting
nice
guy. Before his homer, his lone homer for the Cape Cod Baseball League in that game. It was really interesting to hear. First of all, just him talking about how grateful of experience it was to play in not only Citi Field in the exhibition, but that coming just a few weeks after they took batting practice and had the combine for Fenway Day in Fenway Park. It was pretty cool. He talked about just wanting to compete with the Major League Baseball Draft League. That's exactly what the new Georgia Tech second baseman did.
And he's learning from a great guy in James Ramsey, who he called one of the best hitting coaches in the nation. That made that decision to go to Georgia Tech a little bit easier for him. Does stay in the ACC. Originally from Santa Clara, California. He is no stranger to the Cape as well. Was a CCBL All-Star last year. Also won the batting title for this league as well. Only made one defensive error in the summer as well. Great to have him back in the lineup for Cotuit. 2-2 is popped up, shallow right field. Newstrom underneath it. And he's made both plays here in the third.
Just off the end of the bat for Avincula. The power he has again, hitting the lone home run out of Citi Field on Monday. A guy who just hits everywhere he goes. I mean, he had a .342 average across 50-plus games at Cal last season. We'll try to continue that, staying in the ACC but going a long way from home at Georgia Tech.
Called strike on Dean West. They call him the contact king, if you will, because he can hit to really any part of the field. He said he got that from playing ping pong a lot in middle school. His dad got him a table during the days of COVID, and he said he was non-stop on that thing. Really helped out his hand-eye coordination.
Can you blame him, though?
No.
The most fun tabletop games.
That's what I was doing during COVID. Little Fortnite on the side as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have a look at that slider from Dallas. He's utilized it a lot tonight, and it's been effective. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Dean West, who flew out to center his first time around.
I'll have to talk with Dallas after this appearance to see if incorporating that slider is more of his game plan and something he's looking to do on Cape Cod in his second season with the Commodores. Because, again, that slider usage at Wake Forest this past season certainly wasn't up that high.
Does he go to it here? No, he doesn't, but either way, Wes spoils it. Talked about the increase in Wes's role at UCLA, getting that average up to 320, but in that first game of the College World Series against Murray State, he went 2 for 4, played a part in 3 of the 6 runs for the Bruins in that one. Right back up the middle. Easy play for Dallas. He'll flip it over and go 1, 2, 3 in the top of the third. Matthew Dallas continues to roll, and so do we into the bottom of the third. Falmouth 1, Cotuit nothing. We'll be right back on Cape League TV.
Introducing Open Cape, the local nonprofit internet service provider in this region. Open Cape's fast and reliable network is 100% fiber optic, providing affordable internet connectivity. To learn more, visit opencape.org and always speak with a live Open Cape representative. Open Cape, providing choice and competition for your home or business and the official internet provider of your Falmouth Commodores.
We are Open Cape.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
A little bit earlier with Kent Schmidt and that interesting piece of equipment he has. Third member of our crew, Ben Haller, has more, Ben.
Thanks, guys. Well, nothing screams 4th of July more than baseball, besides maybe hot dogs. And Falmouth first baseman Kent Schmidt sure brings baseball and hot dogs together. Last year at Georgia Tech, he was known for 2 things: leading the ACC with a .397 batting average and swinging this right here hot dog bat. He's gone viral for it on social media. It's the first thing you see when you look at his Twitter bio, and also he's got himself a partnership now with 44 Pro Bats. It started when he was in a film session back at Georgia Tech. His head coach was yelling at him because he wasn't ready for the cutoff, and he said, asked him what he was doing, just standing there thinking about hot dogs. Kent Schmidt came in with a custom hot dog bat just a couple days later. Of course, here in Cape Cod, you can only use wooden bats, and there was a brand that reached out to him, asked him if he wanted a custom wood hot dog bat. He said yes, but they haven't gotten back yet. We'll get more of an update later. Back to you guys.
Yeah, that's some good stuff down there, Ben. Some great investigative journalism, if you will. That was one of the funnier things I think me and you both heard about when Kent Schmidt got down to the Cape was the hot dog bat. And it truly is one of the funnier things I've ever seen on a baseball field.
Yeah, he's all about it. Again, you mentioned that Twitter bio of saying, yes, I have the hot dog bat. It was funny, that story, too, about how it was originally his Georgia Tech coaches thought he was just thinking about hot dogs, and still, it's Kent Schmidt who just keeps on hitting. Hot dog bags seem to work with a .397 average to lead the ACC.
Yeah, only used it a couple times, he said, during the season. Chris Newstrom to lead things off in the bottom of the third against Reed Morning. A time called at home plate as a ball came in from center field. Always have some kids playing behind out in center field. Nice game of catch. You usually see that at your high school football games where youngsters are playing a game of football. Figure out what game they're actually playing out there. We never know. They're just throwing the ball around. Check swing from Newstrom did not go around.
I don't think it's wiffle ball on the 4th of July. One of those.
So.
We saw wiffle ball that trickled down the dirt path down the right field line.
I never see any bases, though, so it's got to be the most unorganized game ever.
Have you ever played wiffle ball before? You never use actual bases for wiffle ball.
What do you mean?
You use someone's shoe, you use a backpack, you use anything but real bases. Come on.
I don't know about you. I was a lot more organized than that.
Apparently, I guess so.
Yeah. Called strike 3 on Newstrom. He's down via the backwards K. Third time looking for a strikeout for the Commodores. 4th total for the USC Santa Barbara product. Top of the lineup for Falmouth. One gone, bottom third. The only run came across in the first, and it was this guy, Carl Schmidt. He's got one of the 2 hits so far for the Commodores. The other one belongs to Justin Osterhaus. Nothing in 2 to Schmidt.
Impressed with Schmidt so far through now 15 games played with Falmouth as well. Talked about the positional versatility he's looking to get and play a little bit everywhere, but not letting the at-bats struggle either. Again, that average well over 310.
Earlier in the season, he was usually in that 7, 8, 9 spot, if you will. And, of course, coming over the Cape, you have your struggles, especially moving to that wooden bat, but you can tell as time goes on, he's become more and more comfortable and has really earned that 314 average entering today. Swing and a miss at the high fastball. Strikeout number 5 for Mooring.
The right fielder from the University of Maryland, number 2, Antonio.
It's Mooring who just keeps mowing down these Commodore batters. Again, only had 6 strikeouts through his 7 2/3 innings pitched on Cape Cod entering this start. Now has 5, and we're just 2 outs through the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Yeah, and that was through 7 2/3 of work to get those 6 Ks, and he's already got 5 through 2 2/3. So both Commodores retired via the K. One backwards, one forwards. Morales not looking to be that 3rd. Grounded out to second base his first time around. And that moved Schmidt over to 3rd after he got to 2nd on a pass ball. One thing about Mooring that impresses most is his ability to find the strike zone. He was a bullpen guy his freshman year. 8 starts, 8 relief appearances, then had a little bit more action in 2024 out of the bullpen. Morales skies one into left field. Johnson, couple steps to his right, and makes the play. 1, 2, 3 in the 3rd. We are through 1/3 of this ball game. Just one run across, thanks to the RBI grounded by Lopez. That's still being the only score as the Commodores lead 1-0 here on Cape League TV.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, president of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
You can make any bat feel lighter by adding a velo puck. Instead of having to go get a whole entirely new bat, you can simply add the puck to it. Players can use this with any bat. It's basically going to shift the weight of the bat a little bit more towards the hands. Players are able to hit the ball a lot harder just by simply adding the puck on.
I'm Michael Gillen, right-handed pitcher from Clemson, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
Top of the 4th, you know what that means. It's now time for some Doors trivia here on July 4th. Our question for tonight, Carl Schmidt had a 4-hit performance against Whitey on Wednesday. Who has the Commodores' record for most hits in a game? Well, this is going to be a tough one. Is it A, Connor Gillespie, B, Kevin Newman, C, Jacoby Ellsbury, or D, Darren Ruff? You can play along at home, tweeting your answer, including the hashtag Doors Trivia. That's hashtag Doors Trivia. And stay tuned for the answer in the bottom of the 4th. A couple of good names on that list.
Yep, certainly.
I'm going to go with in this one. I'm going to go Jacoby Ellsbury.
Thought you'd go that. How did I know?
Was a guy that's very contact heavy, got on base a whole lot. Now that asks for the most hits in a game, not most on base appearances in a game. So we'll just have to wait and see.
You know how long ago Jacoby Ellsbury played for the Falmouth Commodores?
Like how many seasons?
What year? What summer was he here?
I'm going to go 06, 07.
04.
04.
I think
Okay.
that record stands for 21 years.
That's, yeah.
That record could go to one of the raw bars down
put
here
it
on
like,
Falmouth. Yeah.
You put it like that, that's a little bit tougher.
Give my answer real quick. I know Kevin Newman was a 2-year Commodore. It was not recent, but certainly not as long ago as Ellsbury. 2013, 2014, I want to say Newman was here. I'll take B, Kevin Newman.
All right. We'll
That's
find
2
out.
summers. 2 summers worth
it's
of games to do that. So.
Very true. And that 04 is a long time ago. You're an 05 guy, right?
I'm an 04.
04.
I'm an 04.
We're both in that boat.
September 04.
Well, you're one of the earlies.
I am.
I'm in
You're
August
late
04.
for a rising
Yeah.
senior, yeah.
Matthew Dallas trying to make work of Farber quickly. He does, but Farber's pad ends up. That go into the Cotuit dugout? No. It was just in front of the netting.
You see the back
And
kid,
the
he's
bat
got a little
boy is
added
there
responsibility.
To scoop it up. Farber's going to go apologize to him real quick.
That knob is tough to get out of the netting.
Oh, my.
Here comes a friend.
Either way, it's the second strikeout for Dallas.
Well,
He's got
Ryan-
a little extra homework at the end as well.
Ryan Farber saving the day as well. Today's shortstop. Doing some work from in the hole position.
With the knob in the hole of the netting.
Whew.
Watch out. Quick reflexes over there by the Cotuit bat boys. Good on them for staying focused on the job. One out for Jackson Natilli.
That angle, too, from our first base videographer, Boone Gross, to catch that one going all the way into the netting, too. Well done by our crew.
Natilli grounding out to third base his first time up in the first. Just one hit so far for the Kettleers. That game thanks to Ryan Farber. But this has been no off-putting performance from Dallas, who just continues to mow down hitters. And for him to do it in a starting role as well has also been important. Was phenomenal against Tennessee in the Knoxville region. Back up the middle. Dallas going to make another play right back at him. That is put out number 3 for him. I should say assist number 3 for him. Route number 2.
That's something that it feels like across those first 2 appearances versus YD and at Hyannis, Dallas just induces such weak contact right back to him. He's had a couple of nice plays as well. You go back to that game against the Red Sox. And showing that, again, pitchers are athletes too. Got to get Dallas a sweatshirt with that on it.
Still yet to allow an earned run with just one hit. In 8 2/3 innings. You count on the 3 2/3 today to that 5 beforehand.
Maybe making an early bid for his second consecutive Cape League All-Star selection.
1-1 to Andrew Wiggins. Definitely in the conversation. Got here a little bit later with Wake Forest making that run into the regional.
Not only did they make the run, making some noise as well in the Knoxville Regional. In no small part due to Matthew Dallas. His best appearance as a collegiate pitcher came against Cincinnati to go advance to the Knoxville Regional Final. How about going 7 2/3 of scoreless baseball and pitching 115 pitches in that outing?
I think the impressive part, too, about that is that being against your former team as well in Tennessee. Spent his freshman year there. 3-1 hitters count for Andrew Wiggins. With 2 gone. Swing and a miss. Count was run full to Wiggins, who reached via the walk to lead off the second, then was caught stealing on a pickoff move by Dallas to get him. Full count, just outside. Some good plate discipline from Wiggins. That's what he does best. 2 walks tonight, got him up to 14 on the season. He's creeping up towards that league total of number 1. Cotuit even still looking to get the ball out of the infield.
Yep.
That only hit was Farber on a high chopper to Lopez that got under his glove. And the other one you think of is Dean West in that fly out to left field. 2 gone. Wiggins, and that's going to be changed. Camden Johnson pokes it out towards left field. Wiggins going to get to second base. And there's runners at the corners for Kettleers. And if that isn't the broadcaster's shanks, I don't know what is.
I say, ask and you shall receive, my friend. Good piece of hitting to Camden Johnson. Finds some left center field grass. Cotuit Kettleers 90 feet away from scoring for the first time today. Quick conversation now for Dallas and first-year pitching coach Todd Carroll.
Maybe a little bit of danger for Dallas. Nothing he hasn't handled, though. But Todd Carroll's just one of those guys, Ryan. When he comes out to have a conversation, it's just hit the reset button, settle in, don't worry about this, just give you some extra time, and forget about what just happened and moved on to the next. That's what Todd Carroll does. He's been at the helm, especially in the Northeast, for a long time as well. He just wrapped up his 13th year with MIT as their pitching coach.
Which means that you got to trust his moves as well, too, including you see Grayson Saunier in the bullpen. It'll be the first time we see Saunier, the Texas Longhorn right-hander, in a relief role after a couple of starts so far with the Doors.
I think this pitching staff, coaching, and players done a good job of mixing up their hands, really. You really never know who A is going to get the start or B is going to come into relief. Could be a guy who started in the past that has gone to the bullpen, and even vice versa. Think about a guy like TJ Coach that went last night.
TJ, yeah. It's fascinating, too, about how you bring in guys who are, as you mentioned, usually relievers at their schools. You put them into a starting role, and then vice versa, or you start them in a starting role, just as you say, and then decide, hey, this guy could better be used in the middle innings.
A little bit dangerous here for Matthew Dallas. Luke Matthews looking to tie this ball game up. Quickly down 0-2. Some great spots by Dallas to start this AB. Wiggins at third after the 2-out walk. Follow that up by the single by Johnson. For just the second hit for Cotuit. Check over at first. No dive needed by Johnson. Dallas with the advantage in the count. Can he put away Matthews and strand the runner at third? Weakly hit up the middle. Tough play for Newstrom on the forehand. Relays it to first in time. And that runner does get stranded. Matthew Dallas gets out of a mini 2-out jam. Keeps the Kettleers off the board as we go to the bottom of the fourth. Falmouth 1, Cotuit 0. More baseball on the other side on Cape League TV.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings. They are ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
Introducing Open Cape, the local nonprofit internet service provider in this region. Open Cape's fast and reliable network is 100% fiber optic, providing affordable internet connectivity. To learn more, visit opencape.org and always speak with a live Open Cape representative. Open Cape, providing choice and competition for your home or business and the official internet provider of your Falmouth Commodores.
We are Open Cape.
I'm Trevor Baumler, right-handed pitcher from TCU, and you're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
Bottom of the fourth, we have that answer to Doors Trivia last inning. That question about Carl Schmidt, that 4-hit performance. Kevin Newman has the record for most hits in a game. August 2nd, 2013, Newman went 6 for 6 in an 18-3 victory against Bourne, and he went on to even win the batting title that season. So good on you, my friend, for getting that one right.
Starting the holiday off with style with the correct trivia answer. I gotta see what my percentage is on those. I'm shooting 70-80% so far.
Have we been keeping track of that?
Maybe just me.
All right. Those numbers might be a little bit skewed there. 1-0 Commodores as we start the bottom of the fourth. Adrian Lopez, 3-4-5 due up for the Doors. Reed Mooring still out there for Cotuit. He's been really solid so far in his third start. Has allowed just 2 hits in 3 innings on the job. That 1 run allowed was not earned. Lopez providing the only run so far with the ground out to the shortstop Farber in the first. Cotuit did threaten last inning, putting runners at the corners after that single by Camden Johnson, but Dallas dancing out of it, inducing that weak contact that you talked about a little bit earlier. Inside on Lopez, 3 balls, no strikes. Good to see him get back to form, Ryan, after got a little bit of a scare at the beginning of the season. It was game 2 against Brewster. He got hit in the head, had to be reevaluated, was out for a little bit. But getting back to that staple at shortstop the Commodores were looking for. Gets the green light on 3-0.
I think for Lopez, it's checking off those little milestones again. You take about a week and a half off of baseball, especially in a league like this, in which you really have to develop quickly. Mentioned on that RBI ground out for Lopez, just his second RBI on Cape Cod. Someone you knew would figure it out after he was second on the Trojans with 52 runs batted in this past spring.
And just in his third game back, he went 3 for 4 with a pair of runs scored in the victory against Chatham. Mooring has evened the count up at 3 balls, 2 strikes. Taken just outside for ball 4. Lopez has drawn the leadoff walk. First free pass allowed by Mooring.
The center fielder, number 3, number 3.
Been the case so as well for Mooring, and the rising senior at UC Santa Barbara is up to 11 strikeouts, just 5 walks this year. That percentage and ratio was not what we saw coming in after the first 2 games started. He had a 6-4 strikeout to walk ratio. And as we mentioned, there's the kids playing in center field. Someone just hit a home run, I think. I think that's what that means.
They use the fence in play as their out of play. Well, you use your shoes for bases, so I guess really anything goes for you.
You see your idols on the field here. You see a guy like Mike Anu, who's already hit 6 homers on the season to lead the Cape Cod Baseball League. He can send a home run on the other side of that field, what feels like every other game. Maybe I'd want to give it a try, too.
He's already done it plenty of times here at Gov Fuller Field. Now, most of them have been no-doubters as well. Trying to emulate that here. Deep fly ball to left field. West is back to the track, the wall, and he grabs it just at the start of the fence. New knows he just missed that one.
And you mentioned it with Ben Haller last night on the radio broadcast at Cotuit, but New with the 6 homers so far in 2025, he's had a few like those that are just a few feet short from adding to that total. 100 miles off the bat of the righty Mike Anu goes 381 feet to dead center field. Talking that 385 would have gotten it out and made it a 3-0 Commodores lead.
When he went 2 for 4 on Wednesday against YD in that tie, both of his outs were long flyouts to the fence, very similar to that one. And he said to us after that ball game, you know, I just missed those 2 by another ½ inch of my bat. And when you're as talented as a hitter as him, you kind of just know. 1 out, 1 gone for Kent Schmidt. 0 for 1 with a line out back in the second. Bouncer in the dirt. Get it away from Levine and throw down a second, not in time. Gonna go down as a wild pitch for Mooring. Schmidt got up to second after a pass ball back in the first. So that one goes against the pitcher, not the catcher this time around. Runner in scoring position for Falmouth. Capitalized on the first chance back in inning number 1, the only run scored for the Commodores. Did go 0 for 10 last night in the loss. Schmidt up the middle, and it's going to get through for a base hit. Lopez getting the wave from third base coach Jack O'Reilly. He scores with ease, and it's an RBI single for Kent Schmidt. He's up to double digits in that category. 2-0 Falmouth in the bottom of the 4th.
Earning the fun celebration as well with first base coach Quinn Stromberg. Well hit there by Kent Schmidt. Comes off the bat at 98 miles an hour, a dribbler towards the center fielder in Dean West. Andrew, I think if that gets to West in a hurry, maybe you're talking 101, 102 off the bat of Schmidt, it'd be O'Reilly, the third base coach, who would have to leave Lopez at third, and said that perfect contact makes it 2-0 Falmouth.
You did not need the hot dog bat on that one,
did
as
not.
we heard from Ben Haller a little bit earlier. Commodores with the 2-0 advantage, something they did not have last night. That game was tied twice before the Kettleers took their first and only lead in the bottom of the ninth. Osterhaus back on the ground, second base for Avincula. Easy play over to first, but it moves the runner over. 2 outs.
Put Schmidt at second, and a very, very small sample size. But you look at what happened in the loss versus Cotuit versus what's happened early in this 2-0 Falmouth lead. How about Falmouth going 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position yesterday? And now after that RBI single for Ken Schmidt, Falmouth is 2 for 2 to start. 2 for 3, check that, because you have the ground out to Lopez.
Another duck on the pond for Kyle Morrison. Strikeout victim his first time up. The ball goes back the first one, I should say. Morrison only with 3 RBIs to his name on the summer. At 41 this past year at South Alabama. Beautiful looking breaking ball for Mooring. Drops in for a strike. Mooring checks on second. Here's 0-2. Morrison elevates towards left field. Johnson couple steps to his right and makes the play for out number 3. But another run across for the Commodores thanks to the RBI single for Kent Schmidt. RBI number 10 on the season for him. We go to the top of the 5th. Commodores in front 2-0 over the Kettleers.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
On behalf of the Cape Cod Baseball League, we would like to thank the following league partners for their continued support: Cape Space, Cape Cod 5, Cisco Brewers, Cape Cod Healthcare, Hampton Inn, Franklin Sports, Highline Cruises, Jersey Mike's, and of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
I'm Trevor Baumler, right-handed pitcher from TCU, and you're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
Top 5 here on the 4th of July, Independence Day, and it's really a day for thanks. The United States turning 249 years old, and we're also thankful for the volunteers here at the Commodores on Volunteer Appreciation Night. You got a special one you'd like to shout out, Ryan?
I do. There's so many. Yeah. I think we'd have to take an inning or two to thank all the volunteers at the Commodores organization, from game day interns, social media, and broadcasting interns. There's so many interns. We have over 30 interns here at the Falmouth Commodores. So many people make this possible and go unseen. You saw Joanne Hyde, a well-deserved first pitch honor. You'd be hard-pressed to find a sweeter, kinder, and more generous soul than Joanne, which she's done so much for the Commodores organization across 6 years. How about our director of broadcasting as well, Alan Russell, coming in from Falmouth Community Television. He's completely restarted and reinvigorated our broadcast here with Falmouth. Couldn't thank him enough for all of his work so far through the preseason and 17 games.
Year 1 for him. Very excited to see what he does for the future of this broadcast as well. Huge thank you to Alan and all the other volunteers involved here with the Falmouth Commodores. Grayson Saunier out there for Falmouth, his first inning out of the bullpen this season. 3 starts so far, 12 innings of work. A 3 earned run against average. 8-9-1 due up for Cotuit. Starting with Case Sanderson. inside for ball one. Just mention it, Ryan. Saunier has been only a starter guy, but again, with the vice versa-ness of guys going into different roles, Saunier does get that to the bullpen for his first appearance out of the pen.
Yeah, deserved fourth appearance for Saunier. He's been great so far for what we've seen in those starts. Again, I wonder, you talk about a guy like Carl Schmidt saying, hey, I want to play different positions. I want to play the infield as well as my outfield time that I get at Cal. These pitchers could really benefit as well from being more relief-type roles, if that's what they could be in the spring of 2026 at their respective college. A guy like Grayson Saunier might be looking to do that.
That also closes the book on Matthew Dallas, who is sensational in his 4 innings once again. Just 2 hits allowed, no runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Keeps that ERA at 0.00. Second at bat for Sanderson. Ground out up the middle to Dallas in his first plate appearance. Down 1-2 in the count. Stays alive off the end of the bat. Kettleers made a little bit of noise last half inning. Did have a runner at third for the first time. Couldn't get Wiggins across. Talked about the pinch hit appearance that Sanderson had last night in that victory. Was a defensive replacement for Rintaro Sasaki, who checked in the 8th inning. But Sanderson got that base hit off of TJ Coates, who he spent the last 2 years with in Lincoln.
Nothing like summer baseball. Former teammate-to-teammate connections or new teammate-to-teammate connections. You think of the line-out caught on a jump by Jaron Advincula off of his new Georgia Tech teammate Ken Schmidt a couple innings ago.
I'll give you even one better. Chris Newstrom faced against his high school pitcher Wyatt Halverson last night. He's the one who had that maybe infamous wild pitch. I don't know if you saw that, where he lost handle of it just a little bit and it ended up out of play. It was funny after that moment. Both of them shared a smile knowing, whew, that was ugly.
And the connection between the former high school teammates as well, but that one left the whole ballpark at Lowell Park.
Yeah, that was astounding. He lost control of it. He said after the game it just hit the side of his leg on the release, and he just completely lost control of it and went out of the ballpark. The gate at Lowell Park is about 15 feet high, and it went over that and ended up to a tent down the third base line.
Third member of our crew, Ben Haller, made a great point, too. If you usually see a pitch like that in any level of baseball, you think that the pitcher is seriously hurt as well, but good that he was able just to laugh it off and understand its next pitch mentality.
That's the first thing Newstrom was worried about as well, to make sure his high school classmate was all right. This one gets through for Case Sanderson. Hit number 3 for the Kettleers as the first batter Saunier faces. He gives up a base knock.
Piece for Sanderson, who again grounded out to Dallas in his first plate appearance. Now it's one batter face for Saunier, 1 hit allowed.
Just the second time Cotuit has had the leadoff man on. Here's Luke Lavin, the catcher. Hard cut and a miss at the first one. He's known for those pretty big swings, I'd say, and his first career home run came this spring as a sophomore. It's a 2-run shot in a victory against UC Davis. Below his knees. 1 ball, 1 strike. He does do a whole lot of traveling. He's from Laguna Beach, California. Come over to the East Coast to play on Cape Cod, but his mother actually hails from Africa, and he's a frequent traveler and a safari guy on the continent as well. He's been there multiple times, he said.
That'd be quite a trip.
It's a long one.
In Africa.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Lavin, with Sanderson the runner on first. Saunier's 1-2, just outside. Wasn't very highly touted coming out of high school before committing to Stanford. Was the 253rd player nationally. 2-2. Swing and a miss, but fouled and deflected off the catcher's mitt of McCann, so he stays alive. Saunier looking for the double play here.
It's Commodores middle infield that knows how to spin it, most commonly with that middle infield pairing of the shortstop Lopez and the second baseman Newstrom.
They've turned 13 double plays so far this year, and that's top 5 in the league. Sanderson stays alive. Lavin stays alive.
So clean in the middle of the infield, and one thing that I think makes that so natural too, you ever go watch batting practice with the Commodores, it's field manager Jared Saltamaki who will go stand at second base, and the 12-year Major League Baseball veteran will get into the motions with his middle infielders just as he does with his catchers. Very involved.
You got to give him credit. He stays active during BP. High chopper to third, and they do get the force at second. Nice play by Osterhaus. His momentum was taking him home, and that was a tough off-balance throw.
We're talking so much about that left side of the infield with the shortstop Lopez. And the third baseman Osterhaus says, no, I have a pretty good glove as well at the hot corner. Well done there by the Alabama infielder. Get the play and then get the lead runner at second.
Also a great stretch by Newstrom as well, playing the role of first base there. 1 on, 1 out. Top 5, Cotuit trails 2-0 to Falmouth here on the 4th of July. Both these teams trying to crawl back in the West Division, both in playoff spots at the moment. Bourne currently holds that 5th spot and out of the postseason picture. As we're creeping closer and closer to that halfway point, Ryan.
Certainly it's snuck up on us already, the 4th of July. 17 games in the Cape Cod Baseball League season. And again, you take a look at those West Division standings.
That's Wareham in the 5 spot, right?
It is.
Bourne's got that 3 spot.
But just 1 point ahead of
It's a tight race.
Yep, certainly.
Slap the other way down the third base line, slicing foul onto the hill.
And every Cape Cod Baseball League team playing their quote-unquote rival. That's the 2-game series with Falmouth and Cotuit. The 2-game series duel between Bourne and Wareham is another West Division matchup. Last night it was Wareham who lost to Bourne at Dorn Park 4-3. Wareham with a Cape League low 12 points, but Gateman could jump up with a win over the Bravos and a loss here for the Kets.
First strikeout for Grayson Saunier. He sits down to Avincula, his 2nd strikeout. Something that Jaron Avincula doesn't do a whole lot is strike out. Kind of half-hearted on that one.
Really good pitch location on the outside fastball from Saunier. 92 miles an hour. That really made Avincula lunge at it.
2 out for the center fielder, Dean West. West lightly hit up the middle to Lopez. Just going to step on second base, and that does the trick. Halfway home here from Gov Fuller Field on Independence Day. Commodores looking to extend that lead over the Kettleers. 2-0. Ryan Martin has you the rest of the way here on Cape League TV. We'll be right back.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings. They're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
I'm Coleman Mizell, outfielder from Alabama, and you're watching Commodores baseball on Cape TV.
You see Boone Gross, a member of our crew here. Alex as well. They're all part of the action, and we appreciate you joining us with all the action on Cape Cod Baseball League on Cape League TV. You can download the app on your mobile device and favorite TV streaming platform. And watch the Doors on your Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Android TV. Cape League TV provides live and on-demand coverage of all games and featured content from the nation's best summer collegiate baseball league. Continue getting in the game with Cape League TV. Bottom of the fifth inning here between the Kettleers and the Commodores on the 4th of July, 2025, in which the Doors hosting for the first time in a couple years and leading Cotuit 2-0 halfway through. Back alongside Andrew Del Piana, I'm Ryan Martin on Cape League TV. A new pitcher for the Kets entering the fifth inning. You gotta look there at the Bryant righty and Dylan Scudder.
The rising junior from Bryant comes out of smaller D2 school, if you will, Eastern Connecticut State, making that jump up to Division I. Has only been in 2 games so far, yet to allow his first earned run, similar to Matthew Dallas. Didn't pitch too much in Smithfield in his first season, only 18 2/3, just above a 6 ERA.
He's got 8-9-1 due up in this Commodores order. Commodores team looking to build on a 2-0 advantage. 1 run for the Commodores in the bottom of the first, added 1 last time up in the bottom of the fourth. Starts with Virginia Tech catcher and David McCann. Ground this one over to second base. Slide there by Advincula. Throw over to first in time. A shifty play on the first pitch in the bottom of the fifth retires McCann.
That looked eerily similar to what happened last night in the 8th inning. Osterhaus put a ground ball into that similar spot where Advincula, hard hustling to his left, gets down on the slide, keeps the ball in front of him, and just overall just a really good defensive play.
4-5-2 player. We've seen a lot out of Advincula, including the walk-off RBI single last night at Cotuit in a 3-2 Kets win over this Commodores team. Brings up Chris Newsham, Tennessee's second baseman, after the great play at second by Advincula. Good first out retired as well by Dylan Scudder. You mentioned coming from Bryant, Eastern Connecticut State, small school. Commodores fans might be familiar with Francis Ferguson, the right-handed pitcher, a fan favorite in the summer of 2024 from ECSU. Inside on Newsham.
No, it's also funny as Ferguson played with Mark Cutrani with the Vermont Lake Monsters as well.
Year in which Cutrani won MVP of the league there with the Lake Monsters. Scudder working efficiently. Goes to that big curveball again for strike 2 on Newsham.
Ferguson was that phenomenal two-way player where he was a great lefty on the mound. Also did come from that smaller school. It really made a name for himself here on Cape Cod.
Eastern Nazarene College. He was there in Quincy.
Yep.
And went to Connecticut with Eastern Connecticut State. Now with playing some independent ball with the New Jersey Jackals. Back here on Cape Cod, it's Chris Newsham looking to avoid his second strikeout in as many plate appearances. 2-2 count coming from Dylan Scudder. Pitch. Just outside. Count runs full with the Bryant righty versus the Tennessee righty. Chris Newsham, originally from Phoenix. Seen him become a mainstay at the 9 spot in this lineup for field manager Jared Saltzlamakia. Working on his 13th game played. Spoils that one off. Last 2 games to get this Kettleers team, Andrew. It's been a bit of a slower offense compared to what we saw during that span in which the Commodores won 4 of 5 straight games. Offense looked like it couldn't be stopped in some of those wins.
I think you credit that too to really good efforts pitching-wise for Cotuit. Got some really impressive arms last night in that victory. Wyatt Halverson allowing just the 1 earned run, 4 innings of work. Also, Charlie Walker from Northeastern, who was a third-team All-American this past season. And then Tyler Albany's really slamming the door in that 9th inning.
Chris Newsham looking to open the door in the bottom of the 5th inning. He's got a 1-out walk. He's on first as the card flips over to Carl Schmidt. Dylan Scudder, the righty on the mound from Bryant, doesn't walk a lot of batters. Just the second walk so far on the season. Again, has yet to earn a run through 3 1/3 innings pitched. Carl Schmidt working on a 1-for-2 line so far today. California left fielder singled as the very first batter of this game with the Commodores. And reached second on a pass ball, scored on an RBI groundout for Adrian Lopez. First of 2 runs in this game for Falmouth, and then struck out as the 5th and final victim on the day for Reed Morning, USC SB arm. Runner goes in Newstrom. It's a ball outside. The throw down is not in time. Chris Newstrom slides into second base with his 5th stolen bag on the summer. Now scoring position for Falmouth's average leader in Carl Schmidt.
He didn't get a phenomenal jump on that. Not Lavin beat him there with a throw, but good job by Newstrom finding the furthest part away from the bag from home plate on that slide.
Also goes as a 32nd stolen base on the season for Falmouth. That's 3rd most on Cape Cod. Sneaky way that they're playing. Newstrom goes again. Hit and run is on, and Newstrom will have to go back to second as Schmidt fouls it off.
Also thinking about the amount of talent that the Commodores have brought over, as that ball beat him there. Just a really good dive. We're starting to see this team play a little bit more aggressive, and just with the sheer talent in this league, I think stolen base numbers have gotten a little bit more successful, at least, and these catchers are really having to work for these caught stealings.
Commodores 32 for 39 so far on the season. Look at a guy like Chris Newstrom now with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. Carl Schmidt finds pretty much any outfield grass. It's Newstrom who could go from second to home. We've seen him tested a few times, though, and throws have beat him. Here's a 2-2 to Carl Schmidt. Just outside. And on fastball, it's Newstrom who advances over to third. Wild pitch, sees the count run full on Carl Schmidt. And we mentioned how Schmidt has been all over the lineup. This is a spot when he was batting 7th or 8th on the card. See him more likely in than the leadoff spot. Now runner on third base. Infield comes in on Carl Schmidt. 5 RBIs so far this season through 15 games. Can add to that here and give Falmouth some insurance in the 5th. Payoff is outside. With all that action, it's still going to be a 2nd consecutive walk issued for Dylan Scudder. Runners on the corners now for Antonio Morales.
It was interesting also for Cotuit to see the infield come in with the 1 out, the runner on third. Going to back up a little bit here, but not first between Tim O'Connor, the pitching coach, out there for a quick word.
So not expecting a pitching change here. The second arm used by the Cats. Dylan Scudder still very early into his appearance, just 14 pitches thrown. 6 for strikes, and those 8 balls make sense as he's walked 2 of the first 3 batters he's faced. So 2-0 Commodores in the bottom of the 5th inning. For some Independence Day baseball back at Gov Fuller Field. We anticipated coming in, Andrew, but that crowd, that wrapping up the day at Falmouth Heights Beach or at Old Silver Beach in beautiful Falmouth, now they've trickled their way in to Gov Fuller Field. One of the best crowds that Falmouth will have all season. It comes here on the 4th of July.
We talked about it before getting on air today. Just the environment, the feel of baseball on the July 4th here, especially on Cape Cod, with the nature of the talent we get to watch right in front of us, is it's truly a blessing to be here, my friend, and wouldn't want to do it with anyone else either.
Can't agree more there. And it was this Commodores team was at Cotuit last year. They'll rotate the July 4th hosting of this home and home series year by year. A loss at Lowell Park for Falmouth last Independence Day. But now Falmouth 4.5 innings away of claiming this one. Morales skies the first pitch he sees into the infield. Jared Advincula barely has to move before catching it at second for out number 2.
Definitely feels like Falmouth has put a little bit more pressure on Cotuit in these last couple of innings, but really to feel like this lead is going to be safe, you need to get that score total up a little bit. We know how hot Cotuit's been offensively in the last couple of games, and even with how impressive Matthew Dallas is, you're not always going to see that at the back end of your bullpen as well.
And this is a Kettleers team that went through the month of June, the first month of the Cape Cod Baseball League season. Finished June 3-9-1. They've started July red hot at 3-0. 8-2 win versus YD, 11-1 at Hyannis, a 1-run win yesterday against this Commodores team. First pitch outside on the USC shortstop in Adrian Lopez. Runners on the corners now with Newstrom at third and Schmidt at first, respectively. Lopez already has an RBI to his name. First one in this game coming back in the first. These are the positions that Adrian Lopez wants to find himself in more consistently. Runners on base again, trying to come back and be a consistent piece for Falmouth after having to sit out about a week and a half in an injury. This is only the 11th game played of a possible 17 for Lopez, who, as expected, when healthy, has been a mainstay.
Especially, too, if you want to be that guy in the 3 spot, when you have runners in scoring position, you got to drive him in. He's only got that second RBI earned a little bit earlier.
2-0 from Dylan Scudder, just outside, or cuts the outside of the corner. 2 balls, 1 strike. Falmouth up to 74 runs scored on the year, 4th most on Cape Cod, looking for an even 75 on the second RBI on the day for Adrian Lopez. Does he have it here on the 2-1? Strike on the same location, says home plate umpire Ryan Damari.
And that's a really good spot in a 2-1. Make Lopez go the other way and get it. Hasn't necessarily done that a whole lot this year. He's been mostly that pull side.
Lopez had the second run in the 4th inning. Sees the 2-2. Spoiled away.
Lopez choking up on the bat just a little bit. Get those hands to the baseball a little bit quicker. Let me tell you, Ryan, that is a bright, bright red bat he is rocking.
A little bit of red for red, white, and blue on Independence Day. Take a look there. Schmidt at first base. He's off of first with Newstrom at third. Scudder does the 2-2 again. This one's outside. Schmidt will go, and the throw is deked at by the catcher, Lavin. Felt like an at-bat that was destined to go full all the way, and here it does, righty on righty between Dylan Scudder and Adrian Lopez. Full count, 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. Scudder looks to get out of it. The payoff is outside. Make it a 3rd batter walked by Dylan Scudder in this inning. Across the 5 batters faced. Bases are loaded for the first time with either team in this game. And who else would you want up if you're Falmouth than the righty Mike Anu with a Cape League leading 6 home runs.
Also, a lot of credit, too, to the great discipline that Falmouth has utilized in this frame.
Falmouth had just 1 walk in this game coming into this inning. It was a walking score by Adrian Lopez in the 4th. Now, an inning later, they've had 3. That's how all 3 runners have been plated. Scudder now up to 23 pitches, 12 of them for balls. The Bryant right-hander having some control issues. Still into his first inning of work. Who just gets a piece of it. Talked about Adrian Lopez moving into the 3 spot after the injury. This is a cleanup spot that Mike Anu's still getting comfortable with, but his numbers suggest that he should be in this spot. And now getting opportunity with the bases loaded and 2 outs. New again leads the league in home runs, OPS, and slugging percentage. Won't chase after the 0-2. New second on Cape Cod with 14 RBI. Can you do here with the bases loaded? 1-2. Swing and a miss from Mike Anu. Scudder. Head off the mound nonchalantly after letting the bases loaded and getting out Falmouth's best hitter. Commodores still up 2-0 after stranding 3 on the base pass, and an opportunity now for Cotuit entering the 6th right here on Cape League TV.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray,
owner of Falmouth's historic clam shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly options. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, President of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team, the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
I'm Adrian Lopez. I'm an infielder from the University of Southern California, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape Cod TV.
Top of the 6th inning with a 2-0 Commodores lead over Cotuit. We're feeling festive on America's 249th birthday. Happy 4th of July from Gov Fuller Field right off of Main Street in Falmouth. It's the Commodores so far doing their work to get us to the fireworks by Falmouth Heights Beach later today. A 2-run advantage here, in which Grayson Saunier now toes the rubber again. The righty has 3, 4, and 5 due up in a Cotuit order that has matching 3 hits so far today with Falmouth, but nothing across on the run board. So Grayson Saunier, who had a strikeout last inning, now into his 2nd inning of work. He did just 20 pitches and faced 4 Kettleer batters, stranding one on in the leadoff single for Case Sanderson. Starts with the lefty on righty, and Auburn's Ryan Farber. Switch hitter has the middle infielders backed up. And Justin Osterhaus playing onto the infield grass at 3rd. Farber lists the 0-1 foul. Get a look there at the slider used by Grayson Saunier. It's his most used pitch, actually. Hit about 82, and there it hits at 80. Uses the slider 34% of the time, part of a 4-pitch mix, with a fastball about 3 pitches every 10. And a cutter and a changeup as well. Well utilized by the Texas righty. Again, Andrew, we mentioned how for the rising senior in Saunier, Memphis native, making his first appearance out of the bullpen for Falmouth after a couple starts.
And I think that changes, too, a little bit of the dynamic. Because you're so used to warming up before games, knowing you'll be the starter, that guy to usually go 4, sometimes 5 innings, if that. But when you talk to these pitchers, mindset changes a little bit coming in the middle of the game where, especially if you've already seen the team before, Saunier not in that situation.
One thing for Saunier, we mentioned again, the dynamic of collegiate relievers coming in and having starter roles on Cape Cod, and then vice versa. Guys who are usually used to those Saturday, Sunday, or midweek starts at their schools coming in and playing a relief role. Saunier, again, was the former. 12 appearances last year in the SEC with Texas. He only started 1 game and starts his first 3 games on Cape Cod. So this is a role he's more used to having and one he's used to doing against SEC competition.
Well, it's funny, too. It feels like every night in this league you're facing the team's Friday night starter, and you come back in with maybe sometimes even 2 with a bullpen guy that's usually a starter that follows them up. I mean, the pitching in this league continues to impress season after season.
And that's one thing that separates the Cape Cod Baseball League from any other summer collegiate baseball league. You'd be hard-pressed to find those 15 to 11, 14 to 12 games that you'll see, even in most spring actions sometimes.
I mean, the ERA for all these teams tell the story.
Starting to climb as hitters get used to wooden bats. So how about this SEC battle here between Saunier and the lefty swinging Farber from Auburn? Foul that one off his foot, I believe. His count still reads 2-2.
It's been a little bit of a tough day for him. He threw his bat, well, I should say lost the handle on his bat and a strikeout Had to fish that out of the netting. And then redirects this one off that front foot. But he has been a lot of fun to watch over these last 6 or 7 games, Ryan.
Farber getting ready for his first season in the SEC, coming over from Auburn. Or coming to Auburn, I should say, the rising junior. Just made that transfer from Texas State. He's a Texan through and through, originally from San Antonio. One offer at the 2-2, and just like that battle between Scudder and Lopez, felt like this one was going to go full. That's exactly what happens on the first batter faced by Saunier in the top of the 6th inning.
He delivered that game-tying home run last night in the 8th when Cotuit was down 2-1. The offense stifled a little bit, but he really came through when they needed to. Not on this one, though.
No, certainly not. It's Saunier with his second strikeout. It's the first strikeout victim in the 6th inning for Saunier. Comes with Ryan Farber. Goes the 86-mile-an-hour pitch again. Saunier's put-away pitch. Using the cutter there. So from a lefty to a righty, here's Jackson Attili. Cracks the first pitch he sees over to the shortstop in Lopez. He'll field this one easily and throw over to Schmidt for out number 2.
Nice to see Lopez settle in with a nice couple of defensive plays. Originally, that first inning, he got hit with an E6, but that got changed to a single. And ever since then, he's been cool, calm, and collected. Definitely got to stick in the back of your head, though, when you do have 3 errors in one game. And, you know, you think about those a little bit longer than your good plays you've had. And he's had a lot more good ones than bad ones.
Brings up the lefty and Andrew Wiggins. Currently in the transfer portal. After 2 seasons of Big Ten baseball at Indiana. You want to talk about being cool and collected. It's exactly what Wiggins is. 2 walks so far today. It's 14 on the year for second most on Cape Cod. See if he's patient again against Saunier. Is on that pitch for a 1-1 count.
And he was the same way, too, in his first 2 years at Indiana. The Hoosiers had a school record this past year. They got hit with 92 pitches, and Wiggins was responsible for 11 of them. So this guy gets on base no matter what.
Hard to keep off the base paths. Again, won't offer at the slider from Saunier. It's got to be a different approach as well for a righty like Saunier. You got the lefty in the box and Wiggins, and you know he's not going to chase at anything outside that breaks away.
That's why I also like why Saunier sets up at the first base side of the bump to really attack those hitters from the inside out.
Wiggins watches the 2-1 down middle. After allowing just 1 base runner in the 5th, Saunier looks to sit them down in order in the top of the 6th. Commodores still up by 2. 2-2 is spoiled at by Wiggins. Camden Johnson, the Wichita State left fielder, waits on deck. Should he be needed in the top of the 6th inning? Two again to Wiggins. It's outside. Another full count ran by a Kettleer batter against Grayson Saunier. That pitch count climbing up after 20 pitches in his first inning of work. Got 17 already in the 2nd. Here's pitch number 38. It's outside. Full count, 2-out walk for Andrew Wiggins. Might not be anyone on Cape Cod that does it better. 3rd consecutive walk to the right fielder in the transfer portal. Extends the top of the 6th.
He is just such a tough guy to get out because with those 2 strikes, just battles, and then as a pitcher, you get too tired to throw him a strike. You just say, take first base, leave me alone, I'll see you in 9 batters.
The 3rd batter walked today for Cotuit. How about this? 3 walks Cotuit's earned, all 3 have been for Andrew Wiggins.
That is not surprising at all.
Falmouth is countered with earning 4 walks of its own. So here's Camden Johnson. Field knows they can go to 1st or 2nd. For the left fielder, originally from Bourne, Texas, making his transfer into Big Ten baseball. He'll be at Oklahoma come next spring. Big 12, Big SEC. It's one of the 5, right? The conference realignment, but into the SEC with Oklahoma. That was fouled back by Johnson. Johnson, another lefty to face Saunier in this lefty-heavy order for Cotuit field manager Lauren Hibbs in his first season. Second game for the Kets in which 7 or more lefties will come up against Falmouth pitching.
And this lineup he puts out, pretty similar to last night, where the discipline of Cotuit is very much improved in the last couple of games, especially in that back half when Coates came on. We'd see 8, 9, 10 pitch at backs to get them back in it.
2-1. Fouled back again by Johnson. Long at bats for the Kettleers, but hasn't amounted to any movement, especially with 2 outs, really. Kettleers again, no runs on 3 hits. Cotuit has so far stranded 5 batters. It was an issue last night again against the pairing of Caden Eschman and TJ Coates. Falmouth pitchers really did a good job of stranding Cotuit runners. Runners off, but it won't matter. It's a strikeout again for Grayson Saunier, his 3rd of this game. Keeps the score 2-0 Falmouth. Commodores look to add on in the bottom of the 6th when we return right here on Cape League TV.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just 1 click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store, located at 147 T-Ticket Highway, and try a slice today.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we know there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. Now that's how we all win. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
On behalf of the Cape Cod Baseball League, we would like to thank the following league partners for their continued support: 99 Restaurants, Badger Sports, the Baldwin Group, Bluebird Dennisport, Bridgewater State University, Cape Destinations. And of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
Hi, I'm Landon Moran, first baseman outfielder from Stetson University, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
Bottom of the 6th inning, it is still a 2-0 Falmouth lead over Cotuit. On Independence Day 2025, happy 4th of July to you and yours from Gov Fuller Field in Main Street. We have a special surprise on this 4th of July. It's Commodores President Bob Curtis now joining us in the booth. Bob, thanks so much for joining us, and happy 4th of July.
Well, same to you. Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's a great night for baseball.
Great night for baseball as new pitcher comes on for Cotuit as well. This will be the first time that we see Kyle Remington into this game with the Kettleers. And Bob, this is the home-and-home series that Falmouth plays every year against Cotuit. Last year on the 4th of July, we were at Lowell Park, but now it's got to be nice to be back at Gov Fuller Field for that crowd that comes from the Heights Beach and Old Silver.
Well, yeah, not only the kids, the people that come from the beach, but after here, we've got the fireworks. You can walk over to the fireworks from Gov Fuller Field.
It's the only home game at Falmouth that will start at 5 p.m. all season. The other 19 start at 6 p.m., but it's just a fun environment. Again, you go from the beach right here to the field and then back to the beach for the fireworks over the harbor. Could you make a better day?
No, this is baseball heaven.
I know that's what you did today, Ryan. That's your plan after this one, right?
Pretty much.
Gonna be at the beach so far.
I was at the beach, not local.
Remington getting ready. The rising junior at Minnesota made a couple appearances for the Golden Gophers this past year. But this is a Commodores team again that comes to this game at 7-8-1. Some struggles early on, but this has been a fun Falmouth group, Bob, that has really ignited this Falmouth community so far.
Yeah, no, they've really come together this year, and the players really so cohesive. We've noticed we're hosting players, and they just have a ball together, and I think they're really enjoying the season. I mean, we've won some good games. We've lost a couple of squeakers like last night, but it hasn't affected them. They're really very enthusiastic.
First batter against Remington is Schmidt. Will ground over to his defensive counterpart at first base in Case Sanderson for out number 1 in the bottom of the 6th. You mentioned hosting players. It's such a fun tradition, and what really makes the Cape Cod Baseball League special and able to be operated. What's been that like over the last couple of years, having a couple of Commodores at your home?
Oh, we've had Commodores in our home for 18 years. So we keep in touch with almost all of them, even after they've left baseball, got new jobs, had kids, you know, and it's a great experience.
Who's the most famous one that's been in the Curtis house?
Chad Bettis, he was 2010, pitched for the Rockies. And then Nick Martini, he was in 2011. I think he's still playing. He's still playing with the Reds, I think.
I think so too, yep.
Oh.
Strauss fouls back. Second pitch he sees for a 1-1 count. So you go back to hosting players in the late 2000s versus hosting a player in 2025. What are the similarities, differences that you see from these college players these days?
They all eat a lot. They do, and but they're all looking to try to make it into the majors for the most part, and they're here to play baseball, and that's what they're here for, and they focus on that, and that's kind of been tradition throughout the years, So they're
Who's in the house this year?
We got Micah New, Mr. Home Run Hitter, and then Jackson Vanesco, Jason Schultz, and Connor Nill.
Yep. It's a good four, especially New. You talk about players eating a lot and need to perform it.
He's been eating a whole lot.
Whatever he's eating, just got to keep feeding him that. 6 homers on the season.
I think
so far.
I've scrambled 150 eggs so far.
They're working, Bob. They're really working.
Protein works for those 4.
They love their eggs.
In the Curtis house. Working out so far. It might be burgers and dogs, though, for the 4th of July.
Well,
right?
actually, the guys are going to go over to the fireworks, so they're going to be eating on their own tonight.
Right.
But it would have been.
Them and everyone else in Falmouth.
Yeah.
Once this one wraps up, 9 p.m. tonight at Falmouth Heights Beach. One of the great traditions. And what makes Cape Cod Baseball League's baseball so special is to be on Cape Cod on one of the best holidays on the calendar.
Absolutely. No, this is Cape Cod, 4th of July. This is probably one of the biggest weekends on the Cape. Yep.
Second consecutive ground out over to Sanderson. He'll toss one over to the new pitcher in Remington. Osterhaus is retired. So you talked about 18 years of hosting players. We'll ask one more about this. When you're talking with potential host families, you, out of anyone, would know the benefits of hosting players. What makes that relationship and that experience so special for host families?
Well, I think the players become part of your family. They really do. And that's why we keep in touch with. We've had, after this, 4 guys, 45 players in our house. And we're in touch with 44 of them. And at Christmas time, I go to the post office with arms full of baby gifts for the players that we've had.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Special relationship to welcome players into your family and someone that you're welcoming now into the Commodores family. It's first-year field manager Jared Saltzlomakia. And there's a special event coming up just this Thursday with the Meet the Coaches event at St. Barnabas Church. Tell us a little bit about that experience coming up for fans to meet Jared Saltzlomakia and get to know this new Commodores coaching staff.
Thanks for asking about that. It's a big event. It's supported by the Cooperative Bank of Cape Cod, and who is the major sponsor. But here it's going to be under the 40-foot by 80-foot tent at St. Barnabas that we'll introduce Salty and the assistant coaches. We're going to have the demonstration of the clinics technology, the Raposo technology there. There's going to be photo opportunities, autograph opportunities. And everybody will speak for a few minutes. We'll try to keep that. And I on Monday, this last Monday night, the town of Falmouth made a proclamation as July 10th being Falmouth Commodore Day.
There you go. Commodore and Kyle Morrison will ground out over to the shortstop in Ryan Farber. Special day being here on July 4th, Independence Day, for a 2-0 Commodores lead, 2/3 of the way through. And we'll be surely having a special day on July 10th. That's Commodores President Bob Curtis joining us into the booth. Him and us welcoming you and wishing you a happy 4th of July, where we'll be right back right here on Cape League TV.
Hi, I'm Michael Casparian.
Oh, thank you. You get the message out.
Here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
Hi, my name is Matt Burgess, General Manager here at Falmouth Country Club. We have a unique 27-hole public golf course with a beautiful layout that is family-oriented. Kids play free here at Falmouth Country Club. Getting on the course is quick and easy with our app. You can book tee times, get yardages with GPS, use our interactive scorecard, track your stats, and receive exclusive in-app offers. Falmouth Country Club is a true Cape Cod classic and a local family favorite.
See you on the course.
Hi, I'm Coleman Mizell, outfielder from Alabama, and you're watching Commodores baseball on KTV.
Top of the 7th inning here from Gov Fuller Field, where the sun begins to set on the 4th of July, 2025. It's a special holiday in which the Commodores up 2-0 over the Kettleers, entering the top of the 7th inning. Welcome back to Cape League TV. Thanks so much for spending your Independence Day with us. Alongside Andrew Delapiana, I am Ryan Martin, as Grayson Saunier, the Texas right-hander, toes the rubber again for his 3rd inning of work, and he'll have 7, 8, 9, the bottom third of the Kettleers order up, who looks to plate its first run in this contest.
And I think, too, for Cotuit, they've shown spurts of offense at some points. That most dangerous threat came back in the 4th when Wiggins was standing at 3rd. And you got to give the Commodores pitching staff a lot more of a credit, dancing out of some tough situations, especially dealing with stuff with 2 outs.
Certainly have. They strand a 6th runner on base for the Kettleers. Special thanks as well to Falmouth Commodores President Bob Curtis for joining us in that last half inning. A lot of fun and exciting events coming up. We got Independence Day baseball here at the Gov, and then again, Meet the Coaches will be at St. Barnabas Church on July 10th. Here's Luke Matthews, righty on righty against Grayson Saunier. Okay, now seen that pitch count go up a little bit. Here's pitch number 45. It's fouled back by Matthews. 45 pitches, 30 of them for strikes for Saunier. Now into his 3rd inning of work, he's got a trio of strikeouts. Matthews so far today, 0 for 1. Ground out to second to end the 4th after being hit by a pitch in his first plate appearance. One offer at that 1-2, and as we mentioned, July 4th is the 2nd game in a home-and-home in which every Cape Cod Baseball League team plays its rival. These 2 teams match up yesterday. You take a look around Cape Cod. This game, the earliest one getting started, but it's a low-scoring affair across all 4 games going on right now. That one, a backward strikeout for Matthews. He sent down on pitches for the first time. Strikeout number 4 for Saunier, 2nd one in a row. But you got a 2-1 score, YD over Hyannis in the bottom of the 7th, and now about Harwich and Brewster tied up at 6. Tied up in the bottom of the 6th. This has been a close game so far in Independence Day.
I really like the way the league does schedule that, where, with all the traffic on this day, getting from either side of the Cape to the other side, that would be a nightmare. So I do appreciate the Cape making that a little bit easier on these teams and getting around for, which is always a phenomenal day here on July 4th.
Even the longest trip on Cape Cod for a baseball game, we're talking about an hour and a half, barring traffic, but yeah, no real trips to worry about this year. Harwich to Brewster, not too bad. Chatham to Orleans is just a skip away either. And here is Case Sanderson, dropping it right down in front of the center fielder, Mike Ganu. It'll get behind him. Sanderson will take the turnaround first and get into second on his feet. A base hit there for Case Sanderson, and they'll call it a double. First extra base hit of this game for Cotuit. Puts a runner on second with 1 out.
Just a little bit of a tough read from New, where he charges in initially, and he kind of gets caught in that tweener space where you should go full effort for it. You should step back, play it on a hop. You kind of get caught in between, and that's where that weird hop caroms in. It still might have been a double either way for Sanderson, but it sneaks away from New just enough to be sure of that 2-bagger.
Sanderson into scoring position now for the 9-hole hitter in Luke Lavin. Inside on Lavin after Sanderson becomes the first hit allowed by Grayson Saunier into his 3rd inning of work. Saunier follows up Matthew Dallas, who went 4 innings, allowing just 2 hits, no runs, and struck out and walked a pair respectively. Big spot here for Luke Lavin. Just went out in the bottom of the 7th inning. Cotuit looks to do some damage after what's been a slow couple days for them offensively. They got the 3 runs, and that's all they needed, though, against Falmouth in the walk-off win last night. Stanford catcher and Luke Lavin has 4 RBI so far on the year. He's 0 for 2 with groundouts in the 3rd and the 5th. 2-1. He's just upstairs on the Stanford backstop. Slow game offensively between these two teams. There's 2 runs and 7 hits combined. Commodores have both of those runs plated. Chance for Cotuit to add one, though. Lavin cracks this one just foul down the right field line. Lefty on righty between the Texas right-handed pitcher Saunier and the Stanford catcher, and Lavin runs full with Jared Advincula awaiting on deck. Payoff is dribbler over to the second baseman in Newstrom. He'll go underhand to Schmidt, but it is Case Anderson advancing from 2nd to 3rd now with 2 outs in the 7th.
And it feels a little strange too, Ryan. It's like the Commodores have had a lot more offensive chances in this game to pile onto this lead, but Cotuit hasn't gone away quietly. Get a couple of runners in scoring position, and if Advincula can drive home Sanderson, you're looking at a 1-run game.
Each team had 7 hits in yesterday's 3-2 win
Kind of
at
feels
Lowell
the
Park.
same as last night, where the offense was slow out of the gate, but it was always a tight battle throughout.
I feel the scoring here is not over, even though it's been a pitcher's duel so far. So out of those hits for Cotuit last night, the only one that really mattered at the end was the RBI single for Jared Advincula. Bottom of the 9th, he was the hero at Lowell Park. Started the fireworks a day early, too. Now on July 4th, he could play Cotuit's first run in this game. The lefty sees the first pitch from Saunier. It's a curveball that tails inside for an 0-1 count. Advincula with 3 RBI so far through 14 games played. Just late on that one. Really interesting player that we mentioned was at Citi Field for that exhibition game against the Major League Baseball Draft League on Monday. One of 25 Cape League players there. But he was one of only 10 who was not draft eligible. I was asking him about that there, and he said, really just trying to prove something and show that I belong against this kind of competition before he becomes a top prospect in 2026. This one will hit off of Saunier, go over to the shortstop. Lopez fields it, and Advincula will beat out the throw barehanded from Lopez. And the runner, Sanderson, does score a home from 3rd on the play. The awkward hit there against Saunier as Advincula off of first now with 2 gone.
Saunier just waving off Todd Carroll and athletic trainer Matty Klepp. He says, I'm all right, guys. Looked like it came off the bat pretty hard at him, but again, he waves him off and says, I'm all good to go.
Try 94 miles an hour off Advincula's bat. Hits off of Saunier's legs and almost gets into a perfect position for the shortstop Adrian Lopez. Just a bit too slow to Lopez. Goes as another hit for Cotuit. Plates the first run of the game now, 2-1 Commodores on the 4th of July. First pitch to the UCLA lefty Dean West is taken for a strike. Advincula does have great speed off of first base. We'll see what Lauren Hobbs does with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. 9 for 13 so far on stolen base attempts through 14 games. He's on first base now for Dean West. 0 for 3 so far today. A flyout in the first, and then a couple inning-ending groundouts. Ended the third and the fifth. Most pressure Saulnier's faced. We'll get the call right here from home plate umpire again, and Ryan Damari.
There was timeout taken before. It was a late one from Dean West.
So no change in the count. Still 1 ball, 1 strike to the UCLA outfielder. Woodland Hills California native digs in again for the 1-1. Just gets a piece of the 86-mile-an-hour breaking ball from Saulnier. That's the cutter he likes to use about 25% of the time. So with Advincula, the best base runners on Cape Cod at first, Saulnier can get out of it. And he gets West to lift one, barely into the outfield grass in left center. Shortstop Lopez pulls down out number 3 and strands Advincula on first base. But it's an RBI single for Jaron Advincula to make this score 2-1 Commodores. And on America's 249th birthday, it's no better time than to continue a tradition here at Gov Fuller Field. We send it to our public address announcer, William Rosen, for the playing of America the Beautiful.
I'm just right there.
Ladies and gentlemen, on July 4th, we welcome back the singing of our America the Beautiful by the Shining Sea Strummers. They're going to play it in honor of Catherine Lee Bates, the writer and composer of America the Beautiful and Falmouth Zone. On July 4th, whenever you're ready.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of gray, for purple mountains' majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
Introducing Open Cape, the local nonprofit internet service provider in this region. Open Cape's fast and reliable network is 100% fiber optic, providing affordable internet connectivity. To learn more, visit opencape.org and always speak with a live Open Cape representative. Open Cape, providing choice and competition for your home or business and the official internet provider of your Falmouth Commodores.
We are Open Cape.
I'm Michael Gillen, right-handed pitcher from Clemson, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
Thanks, guys. On the other end of that break, you heard a beautiful rendition of America the Beautiful, and a special one because today, obviously, is the 4th of July. But if this is your first time watching a Falmouth Commodores game, it's not something just because it's the 4th of July. It's played every home Falmouth game here at Gov Fuller Field in the middle of the 7th inning. It was written by Catherine Lee Bates, who at Pikes was a professor at Wellesley College and went on a hiking trip with her other professors to Pikes Peak in Colorado Springs. and she said it is a poem, originally written as a poem, then converted to a song, written literally just about the straight natural beauty of America. No other meaning just besides she was looking out at the mountains from the top of the mountain, said it was very beautiful, and what makes it so special to Falmouth, of course, Catherine Lee Bates is from Falmouth, and she wrote it here. It was converted from a poem to a song in 1895, and you'll hear it 20 times in all 20 home games of a Falmouth Commodores season.
Thanks so much for that story, Ben. A beautiful song and a beautiful story on the creation of America the Beautiful. No better time than to tell it on the 4th of July, 2025. Commodores see their lead cut in half. It's 2-1 now as David McCann will foul back a second straight pitch. He's down to an 0-2 count. While into the second inning of work for Cotuit on the mound, it's still the right-hander in Kyle Remington. Back on Cape League TV and alongside Andrew Delapiana, I'm Ryan Martin. Happy 4th of July to you and yours as we get ready for the 7th inning here. Just out of the stretch. And it's David McCann who's going to strike out on that pitch. Second time McCann has been rung up. First out in the bottom of the 7th. First strikeout for the rising junior right-hander in Kyle Remington. Grand Rapids, Michigan native. Gets out McCann and brings up Chris Newstrom. He's already struck out once today. And then walked in the 5th. Really good breaking ball there. He slows down the curveball all the way to 78 miles an hour. Newstrom, again, way out ahead of the breaking ball that hits the exact same spot on the radar gun. 78 miles an hour from the Big Ten arm in Remington. Working on it well. Newstrom looks to avoid the punch out. Newstrom with 3 hits across his last 3 games. Went 1 for 2 with a walk last night. Had that big first homer on Wednesday at YD. That's what's changed for the Tennessee second baseman since the last time he played at Gov Fuller Field. We've talked about it, Andrew, all season long. The rising sophomore at Tennessee in Newstrom feels like he's one of those guys who just hits the ball all over the park at batting practice. Got the first one out there at Red Wilson Field.
And it was interesting to hear after that game his tendency and his discipline and what he needs to do in order to get back to what he's looking for before he gets back to Knoxville. And that's really just comes down to plate discipline and pitch selection. And to finally get that first one against YD was a huge sigh of relief, he said.
Doesn't offer at that full count pitch. It's a second consecutive walk issued to Chris Newstrom. The rising sophomore has been patient. He's now on with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th. Newstrom off of first base. And it brings up Carl Schmidt. And Falmouth's average leader so far is making a great case to not actually have an off day on July 19th. It's a league-wide off day, but it's also the Cape League All-Star game. And for Schmidt, you could just hear his name called there as the Cape League All-Stars will shine once again on July 19th at Red Wilson Field, as we just mentioned with YD, during the 2025 Cape Cod Baseball League All-Star game. You won't want to miss any action of that All-Star Day festivities. You can buy your tickets today at CapeCodBaseballStore.org. A couple of Falmouth players so far this season have made a case to be at Red Wilson Field on July 19th. See Carl Schmidt here. Mike Gnu as well, the Cape League leader in home runs. Might even see him in the Derby before that game starts around 5 p.m.
That'd be a lot of fun to watch him at a Derby. According to him, he hits nukes.
That's what he
when
said.
Taking BP, so.
One of those guys in Mike Gnu is never too high, never too low. Mike Gnu. As Carl Schmidt grounds it over to his third base counterpart in Muntlik. To second for 1, over to first. It's a inning-ending double play for Carl Schmidt. It's a 5-4-3 turn for the Kettleers, who now look to take their first lead of the game after scoring 1 in the 7th. It's still 2-1 Falmouth entering the 8th right here on Cape League TV.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just 1 click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store, located at 147 T-Ticket Highway, and try a slice today.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, President of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
I'm Trevor Baumler, right-handed pitcher from TCU, and you're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
Top of the 8th inning here from Gov Fuller Field, where Falmouth up 2-1 over Cotuit on some 4th of July baseball right here on Cape League TV. Alongside Andrew Della Piana, I'm Ryan Martin, thanking you once more for spending your 4th of July with us here off of Main Street in Falmouth, where we see a new pitcher. It's the West Virginia arm and Carson Estridge out onto the mound again. He becomes the 3rd Falmouth arm utilized so far in this game, Andrew.
First time we'll see him, too, in the month of July. Phenomenal in his season debut against Chatham. Playing Cotuit right now for just the 2nd time. 2 scoreless innings of work, 2 hits allowed, 3 strikeouts. Good to have another West Virginia guy here in as well. Also Max Stifler appearing for the Commodores. We'll see him in a short time, no doubt. But Carson Estridge was a staple in their bullpen this year. He led the team with 5 saves, 19 appearances out of the bullpen. This is what he does coming on the 8th inning and 9th.
Bit of a pressure situation for the Mountaineers. You mentioned with Carson Estridge. Him, Stifler, and you had Robbie Porco. 3 Mountaineers out of this bullpen for pitching coach Todd Carroll and field manager Jared Saltalamacchio. So it was Estridge who pitched 2 innings and got the win against Chatham, that being on June 29th. Now looks to make those 2 innings matter here if you were to get the final 6 outs here for Falmouth. They'll have to do so in the meat and potatoes of the Cotuit order. It starts again at 3, 4, and 5. Here's Auburn's Ryan Farber to begin things off in the 8th. And this game moving along quickly. And if you just tuning in and you see, hey, an hour 17 in for a usual 6 p.m. start, well, that's because we started this one at 5 o'clock again for the 4th of July, ahead of the annual tradition of fireworks over Falmouth Heights Beach. That will kick off at 9 p.m. today. So after you're finished watching us on Cape League TV, get on down to the Heights for the annual tradition of fireworks on Cape Cod here in Falmouth. Carson Estridge looks to retire Ryan Farber for the 3rd consecutive time. He struck out his last 2 plate appearances. Now 1 strike away from doing it again. Estridge brings a size, the rising senior at West Virginia. 6'7", 210 pounds for the Haymarket, Virginia native. Kicks and deals the 1-2. It's skied into the air by Matthews on the run. And it's Antonio Morales who will pull down the 2nd out in the top of the 8th inning, or the 1st out, and get Farber retired. Take a look at the upcoming schedule. This one, obviously, the 2nd of the home-and-home against Cotuit. It's a 1st of 2 in a row at home. Wareham will be back here at Gov Fuller Field for the regularly scheduled 6 p.m. first pitch tomorrow.
First trip out to Harwich as well on Tuesday. Been to all of the 9 ballparks except for that one in White House Field and the defending champs.
Harwich team that's deadlocked right now in a game. The 2nd of 2 out of 2 against Brewster. And you see the pinch hitter that comes in now for Cotuit. It is the big lefty swinger. And Caden Bogenpool. He sees the 0-1 from Estridge run upstairs. Rising junior at Missouri State. He comes into this game in place of Jackson Attili. The Cincinnati designated hitter was 0 for 3. One is Sent foul by Bogenpole.
Bogenpole rocking some red, white, and blue eye black as well. The Kettleers had their annual parade today at Lowell Park.
Yep.
And all throughout the town. Got to come back to Lowell, get some events going on there as well. Pretty cool to see.
We were talking with some of the Kettleer broadcasters about that day at Lowell Park. Looked like fun after the parade around the village of Cotuit. But autographs, kids' games, something for the whole family as part of the 4th of July festivities that the Kets do every year.
And also, too, a great ballpark to be in last night as well. Tons of fun.
One of those traditions that a lot of the Cape League towns have. It's sent into the air by Bogenpole. Running to his left, losing the hat is Morales. He'll dive, leap, and make the catch. Antonio Morales goes full airborne right down the right field line and earns a deserved 4th of July clap from the crowd in attendance for out number 2.
I mean, oh my goodness, what an effort from Antonio Morales. You need to take another look at this one.
You see the fireworks, it's for good reason. Antonio Morales has made some great plays in right field. That might be the best on the summer so far. Whoa, diving right in front of the Jim's Clam Shack signage. Loses the hat in the process, no problem for the rising junior at Maryland. Keeps us a 2-1 game. That could have been 2+ bases there for Bogenpole.
He was a little bit shaken up, too, on the play as well.
Take one more look at it. Morales seems to be okay. As the Kettleers lineup continues to Andrew Wiggins. Again. Full in motion, sprinting towards his left. Morales records the second out.
Only got one thing to say to that, Ryan. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
We've seen a lot of great athletic feats today. How about Joey Chestnut winning an 18th consecutive Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest?
Call that
That's
athletic
good.
over that?
That's great, though, too. We're talking about, you want to make the Sports Center noise and see what you could see on Top 10 tomorrow?
That's not on Sports Center.
It
That's
could
just his
certainly
job.
be there. Saying Morales making a case for one of the most athletic plays you'll see on this 4th of July. Here again is the right fielder Andrew Wiggins from the left side. And we've seen some great plays.
I can't
over
believe
what
you
the
just
Gov-
compared that to Joey Chestnut. Yes, he's an unbelievable athlete. Guy's won 17
I'm
titles.
talking about
but
what you could see on Sports Center tomorrow morning. You'll see Joey Chestnut there,
you
and you should see Antonio
eating
Morales.
hot dogs is on Sports Center's top 10?
I'm just saying, could be. It should be joined with Antonio Morales' catch there in right field, for
We'll
sure.
put it at 1-2. How does that sound?
You know they're going to talk about it. It was on ESPN today. They're
On
in Coney
ESPN
Island.
too, yeah.
Morales with a great play. Look, that was a great play. I'm giving his credit.
Both are phenomenal
Oh, I'm
athletes in
sure.
their own right.
I'm sure.
Okay.
Now a 2-2 count to Andrew Wiggins. Is chopped at over to the second baseman, Newsham. Gets it on 3 hops. Swings it over to first base in plenty of time. A pretty simple out there for Newsham. Not a simple out recorded by Antonio Morales. And somehow it's 3 up, 3 down for Carson Estridge. We enter the bottom of the 8th. Still a 2-1 Commodores lead on Cape League TV.
Introducing Open Cape, the local nonprofit internet service provider in this region. Open Cape's fast and reliable network is 100% fiber optic, providing affordable internet connectivity. To learn more, visit opencape.org and always speak with a live Open Cape representative. Open Cape, providing choice and competition for your home or business and the official internet provider of your Falmouth Commodores.
We are Open Cape.
Hi, my name is Matt Burgess, General Manager here at Falmouth Country Club. We have a unique 27-hole public golf course with a beautiful layout that is family-oriented. Kids play free here at Falmouth Country Club. Getting on the course is quick and easy with our app. You can book tee times, get yardages with GPS, use our interactive scorecard, track your stats, and receive exclusive in-app offers. Falmouth Country Club is a true Cape Cod classic and a local family favorite.
See you on the course.
Hi, I'm Landon Moran, first baseman outfielder from Stetson University, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
Bottom of the 8th inning, where Antonio Morales, the right fielder for Maryland, is due up to start the bottom of the 8th. Let's see what he did in the top of the 8th for the second out. A loud one on the Kettleers pinch hitter. Goes full airborne. Morales diving right by the right field pole. And now he trades in that glove, looking like a golden glove on that play, for the black batting helmet and the tan bat. He'll lead off the bottom of the 8th inning here for the Commodores, up 2-1 over Cotuit on the 4th of July. Alongside Andrew Delapiana, I'm Ryan Martin on Cape League TV. Morales starts 2, 3, and 4, due up in the Commodores' order here. Working still against the righty and Kyle Remington. He's into his 3rd inning of work, and he'll plunk Morales on the first pitch thrown in the 8th.
Safe to say the Kettleers did not like him making that catch.
The shortstop from USC, number 18.
Morales kept off bargain pole off the base paths. But it's Cotuit who can't do the same after the fantastic play from Morales. He's on first base with a leadoff hit by pitch. Big time for insurance now for Falmouth. It'll be Cotuit who needs to play at least one run in the top of the 9th to keep this game going. Or to put pressure on Falmouth in the bottom of the 9th, the same situation we were in at Lowell Park last night in a 3-2 Cotuit walk-off win. Here's Lopez. He's walked in each of his last 2 plate appearances. Only other time up to bat for the USC shortstop was an RBI groundout for the first run in this game with Falmouth. Runner goes to Morales, pitches low for a ball, and the tag applied by Advincula is just late. Morales makes the top 10 play worthy catch and gets hit by a pitch, then steals second base. He's just showing off a little bit of everything on the 4th of July.
Get the jersey all dirty too.
Take a look again. It was a great jump there for Morales out ahead of the throw from the catcher and Luke Lavin.
That's a good tag applied by Advincula. Just again, similar to what Newstrom did a little bit earlier, where he just dives for that farmost part of the bag from home plate.
Morales off of second base. Now, after his team leading 7th stolen bag on the summer.
Yeah, the Terps got a good one, no doubt.
How about the patience as well from Adrian Lopez after walks in his last 2 times at the dish? He sees himself in a 3-0 count. A Big Ten battle against Remington. He'll watch a strike. Keep this at-bat going between the Minnesota Golden Gopher righty pitcher and the USC Trojan and Lopez. Mike Anu waits on deck after the 3-1 to Lopez. Golfs at it and comes up empty. We spoke a little bit about Lopez getting his 2nd RBI on the summer in that first at-bat, which he grounded out. Now, a chance for number 3. Could be some big insurance that the Commodores need, as it feels like Cotuit's starting to find things together offensively. He'll draw the full count walk.
Covering out for your Commodores, the center fielder, number 3, Micah New.
Lopez takes first base. He's just behind Morales over at second. As there will be a pitching change before Mike Anu steps into the right-handed box. It's a right-hander coming on for the Kettleers. They're down 2-1 over Falmouth. Commodores looking at insurance. Kettleers looking to keep this a 1-run deficit. We'll introduce you to the new Ketts pitcher when we return right here on Cape League TV.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic Clam Shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly option. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
I'm Adrian Lopez. I'm an infielder from the University of Southern California, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
Bottom end of the 8th inning for some 4th of July baseball. Falmouth up 2-1 over the Commodores. It's a Falmouth team in which you can meet some of these Falmouth coaches coming up soon on July 10th. You can join us for Meet the Coaches. You can get to know new field manager Jared Saltzlamakia and the rest of the coaching staff at this can't-miss event. We talked to Commodores President Bob Curtis about it already, but you can continue being involved by heading to falmouthcommodores.com for more information. That'll be a good day coming up on Thursday. Not too far away from Barnstable, Massachusetts, where the Cape Cod native and now right-hander from FAU, Ryan Buckler, is originally from. And Buckler now on to pitch for the Kettleers in this appearance. He's going to become the 3rd pitcher utilized by the Kets. And with a 2-1 Commodores lead, Falmouth still threatening with 2 on base.
Didn't get too much time this past year with the Owls. Only went 11 2/3. Batting average against was pretty high, was above 300. But as you said, the local guy originally went to Virginia Tech for his freshman year, then goes to Florida Atlantic. Still yet to allow an earned run in 5 2/3. It's the guy that Lauren Hibbs wants right now to keep this a 1-run game.
Already a 5th appearance, as you just saw on the summer for pitcher and Buckler. Pretty tough test as your first batter to face, though, on the 4th of July. Here's Mike Anu. Added his league-leading 6th home run yesterday, as you mentioned, in the transfer portal, but a chance to plate 2 more RBI. He's atop the league in that as well. So far today, not what we're typically used to seeing out of New. He's 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts. Morales off of 2nd, Lopez off of 1st. 2 and 3 hitters both on for the Commodores as New lines this one into right field. The right fielder and Wiggins comes down with it. Morales will speed from 2nd to 3rd. There goes a sac fly for Mike Anu. Now, 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. Puts Morales at 3rd. Runners on the corners for Kent Schmidt.
It might not be an at-bat that Mike Anu is happy with, but it still does the job at the end of the day. Whether that's a ground ball to either side to move the runner over, you're just glad it wasn't a double play there.
Good first batter faced for the rising junior at FAU and Ryan Buckler. He's draft eligible, 6'1", 175. Now it's lefty on righty with Georgia Tech's Kent Schmidt. Schmidt won't swing at the first pitch he sees outside. Adrian Lopez was watching the catcher, Luke Lavin, the whole time as he tried it from 1st to 2nd. No throw from the Stanford backstop. Now 2 in scoring position for Schmidt. This is a moment where Falmouth needs to capitalize as the infield comes in, looking to keep Morales at 3rd base. 2nd pitch goes outside on Schmidt. Looking to add another RBI to his total after the RBI single in the 4th inning. That plated the most recent run in this game. Came 3 2/3 innings ago. And scored Adrian Lopez on the play. Lopez is now off 2nd. Call strike on Schmidt. See Joe Sabat, the Rhode Island Ram. Guy who's been a consistent closer both at URI and for Falmouth so far this season. He could be on for the top of the 9th inning. Really tough sledding in this 2-game home-and-home series for Falmouth with runners in scoring position. Commodores are combined 1 for 17. Went 0 for 10 last night and 1 for 7 so far today. Now at risk of stranding 2 or more runners on base for the 2nd time. See though, with Schmidt. Toes it off his foot, still only 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. The mindset for Ryan Buckler on the mound here has to be to induce some kind of ground ball, keep the play in the infield. Schmidt's seen that average go up a bit, up to 231 now. Led the ACC with a 397 average this past sprint. 1 for 3, as you mentioned, with the RBI single. Infield's got the toes on the grass. The pitch is outside.
And I think something, too, to bring up as well is with the infield on the grass. Ryan Farber, the shortstop, he's shaded a little bit closer towards second base. Some teams have played this shift against Schmidt.
That's where the RBI single for Schmidt went up, right the middle. Cotuit learning from experience. The payoff is skied at by Schmidt into right field. Andrew Wiggins, who just has to take a few steps in, pulls down the catch. Here comes the tag from Morales at third. The throw home from Wiggins will be offline, and Morales scores and makes this a 3-1 Commodores lead. It's a second RBI for Kent Schmidt. Represent the second out in the bottom of the 8th, but you'll take that if you're Falmouth. It's back up to a 2-run Doors lead.
And just back-to-back batters just knowing their job of getting the ball deep enough to the outfield to advance the runners. You know Schmidt has a good amount of power, and he just had to send it deep enough. I like that play, too, by Wiggins, really revving up on the jump throw to home.
It's a pair of flyouts to Wiggins in right field that move up the runner in Morales.
Call that the junkyard throw.
Yep.
Where you put everything into it.
Couldn't get it home to the catcher in Lavin. This one for Osterhaus, back onto the outfield grass. Second baseman in Evenko takes a couple of steps out that way for out number 3. Commodores plate the first run since the 4th inning for the home team. It's now a 3-1 Falmouth lead. 3 outs to play with for Cotuit. If they want to stay in this July 4th battle, you won't want to miss the ending right here on Cape League TV.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just one click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store, located at 147 T-Ticket Highway, and try a slice today.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
I'm Ben Royo, shortstop from Texas A&M, and you're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
It all comes down to this in the top of the 9th inning on the 4th of July from Gov Fuller Field in Falmouth. The Commodores up 3-1 over Cotuit. 3 more outs to go for the Kettleers, and it's a new pitcher on the mound for Falmouth looking to close things out in his 6th appearance on Cape Cod in the Rhode Island righty, Joe Sabbath.
And this is flat out what Sabbath does. He brought him over from Rhode Island after a phenomenal season there. He finished with 8 saves. That was top 10 in single season history for URI. And 28 appearances out of the bullpen and a sub-2 ERA in 5 appearances.
Sabbath so far, check out those numbers, a 1.35 ERA. He also got a pair of saves to his credit. One of just 9 Cape League pitchers who can say they have multiple saves so far in the summer of 2025. For Cotuit, it's 6, 7, 8 due up. We'll see what pinch hitters, if any, first-year Cotuit manager in Lauren Hibbs looks to utilize. There's the Oklahoma lefty in Camden Johnson. He's been in the lineup all day so far, going 1 for 3. Sabbath goes with the fastball at 94. It just goes inside on Johnson. For Sabbath, you see the fastball he uses there. He'll use that over 50% of the time. Also incorporate a slider, changeup, and curveball as part of a 4-pitch mix for the A-10 second team selection this past sprint. This one lifted into the air by Johnson. Moving to his right is the right fielder in Antonio Morales, and it's the first out in the top of the 9th. So you mentioned there might be some pitch hitters utilized here by Hibbs. There's one coming up here. But a reminder that this broadcast is a copyrighted production of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Any unauthorized duplication, retransmission, or other use of this content is strictly prohibited. The one out in the top of the ninth. I mentioned pinch hitter here for Lauren Hibbs. Digging in from the left side again. It's Easton Winfield. The unrighty with the first pitch strike from Sabbath. Winfield in the transfer portal. We mentioned a lot of new faces coming into Austin with the Texas Longhorns. Easton Winfield will play his junior season elsewhere. Still looking for a home at just 19 years old. Winfield cracks this one right over to the first baseman, and Schmidt goes down to get it. Now just one out left for Cotuit to stay alive on the 4th of July. So here's Case Sanderson. The double and lone run so far in this game for Cotuit. It's the only extra base hit for either team, with the 8 combined hits and 4 combined runs in this game. Came around to score on the RBI single from Advincula in the 7th. She's a first pitch strike from Sabbath. Falmouth on the cusp of going back to 500 and doing so on the 4th of July. Falmouth sitting at 7-8-1 on the season after that 3-2 loss by walk-off fashion at Lowell Park yesterday to this Kettleers team. One to Sanderson is lofted into left center field. Losing the hat but making the play on it is Carl Schmidt. He'll pull down the final out in this game, and it's a 3-1 Commodores win on the 4th of July. No real fireworks in this game, just a gutted, grinded out win for the Commodores. It takes just 3 hits for Falmouth to move to 8-8-1 on the season and split this home-and-home series with the rival Cotuit Kettleers.
It's a good result for Falmouth, no doubt, after a pretty heartbreaking loss last night where you were in control for most of the game. You get to that 8th inning. Farber delivers the big blow to tie the ball game. And then for you to come back tonight, get on the board early. Some great pitching displays. Matthew Dallas, Grayson Saunier, Carson Estridge, Joe Sabbath put together some really good performances to shut down a Cotuit team that over the last 6 games, no doubt, has been top 3 in a number of offensive categories in the way they've turned things around in their season. But we've been kind of saying it all season long. When the offense is there, sometimes the pitching isn't, and sometimes you need both to work out and get wins, and it turned out that the pitching was the star tonight in the victory.
Certainly was in this 3-1 grinded out win for the Commodores. The first start on the summer for Matthew Dallas. He gives 4 innings, 2 hits, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts, but the win and first of his Cape Cod League tenure goes to Grayson Saunier for 3 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, walk, but striking out 4. He was great so far in this one, and so was the right fielder Antonio Morales, and the 3rd member of our team, Ben Haller, is now standing with the Maryland utility man. Ben?
Thanks, guys. We're here with Antonio Morales, or should I say Superman, after that play down the right field line in the 7th inning. And that came in a pretty big spot, too. You make many plays like that?
I mean, that's one of my better ones for sure. I think that the coaches told me to play no doubles there, so that was the reason I was able to get there. So I got a good read and made a good play.
It's a big reason you guys only gave up 1 run today for a defense that's been all year long, and you're someone that's played so many different positions. Is right field all the ones you feel more comfortable in?
Yeah, so going into this summer, I actually had never played right field, but Salty told me that I'd be the starting right fielder on opening day, and ever since then, during BP, I've just been working on getting my reads and just improving there, and I think I'm making good progress right now.
How much confidence does making a play like that for a new position for you give you going forward?
I think so much. So we had a fly ball later in that inning, and it just everything just felt easy out there. So that's a huge confidence booster. I was really happy that I was able to help us get a win and go Doors.
Antonio, I appreciate your time making the play of the game. Back to you guys at the booth.
Thanks so much, Ben. Appreciate that, and appreciate Antonio Morales taking that time. Andrew, how about that? A position he's never played before.
That guy's never played right field.
Looks like he's played it for a decade.
What a liar. That was an unbelievable play, and it really stopped some momentum in this ball game in the 8th where Natilli really got well. And as we got another star joining Ben Haller, it's the starter from today's game, Matthew Dallas. Ben?
Thanks, guys. Here with the player of the game now, and Matthew Dallas, the starter today, in your first start here for Falmouth. You went 4 innings scoreless. What was working for you today?
I was able to sides of the plate going for me. I mixed up a bunch of timings, had a bunch of left in the lineup, so kind of played in my favor.
You had a couple of relief appearances before the first start this summer. Last summer, though, you got 6 starts here on the Cape. All of those, again, were starts. How much do you like starting as opposed to coming out of the bullpen? Do you have a preference?
Oh, starting for sure. It just makes you be able to have your own routine. Like, kind of can do like what you like to do. Like, get here when you need to and stuff like that. You don't have to worry about when you're coming in and stuff like that. So I like starting a lot better.
You're one of the more experienced guys for a very talented pitching staff here in Falmouth. Again, not only in college baseball in general, but here in Falmouth. How much are you going into that kind of a leader role with a lot of these younger guys?
Yeah, I mean, you just talk to them on a daily basis, like kind of see where they're at. Like if you see something that you might be able to like help somebody with, you just talk to them. Like I think that's what we're all really good at. Like we've all been around baseball enough where like if we see something, like we'll just ask their opinion on it and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of how you go about it.
Perfect. Thank you, Matthew. Nice start. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Ben. You hear there from the left-hander Matthew Dallas, who likes starting on Cape Cod and is pretty good at doing so, not allowing a run through the 4 innings. Pitched the first 4 innings in this game as part of a 3-1 Commodores win. Andrew, closing thoughts here as Falmouth splits the home and home with Cotuit. Moving again to 500, 8-1 after beating a Kets team that was red hot and breaking a 3-game winning streak.
I think just making the big plays at the right time was the biggest thing for Falmouth tonight. Look at that play by Morales to kind of stop momentum just a little bit in the 8th inning as Cotuit was starting to get things going a little bit. And even Matthew Dallas setting the tone early on with those innings of work where he just allows no runs on 4 scoreless innings with 2 strikeouts. He's someone who's been a lot of fun to watch so far. He mows down hitters, feels like every single time he steps on the bump, and everything in this ball game for Commodores just kind of came very timely in this one as we move forward to the rest of the season.
Still a big donut in the ERA column for Matthew Dallas, now 3 appearances after the 6 starts last year. That will do it here for this holiday edition of Commodores baseball. Falmouth moves to 8-1 on the season, beating the Cotuit Kettleers 3-1. Falmouth's not going anywhere, though. The Commodores will be right back in action here at the usually scheduled 6 p.m. first pitch time against a Wareham Gateman team that just lost by 1 run at Dorn Park to the Bourne Braves today. You'll see that Gateman team here from Falmouth tomorrow. But tonight, for the 4th of July, we thank you so much again for tuning in to our broadcast. For our director, Kyle Klima, our producer, and Dan Papillo, the 3rd member of our team, Ben Haller, and my good friend here, and Andrew Della Piana, I'm Ryan Martin with your final score for the final time. It's the Commodores beating the Kettleers 3-1 here on the 4th of July. Have a great and safe holiday, everyone.